hear oral arguments at the Supreme Court over whether his executive order limiting birthright citizenship is legal. One of his arguments is that if unrestricted, it leads to so-called birth tourism, where pregnant women travel to the US to give birth so that their baby can have American citizenship. But the Chief Justice, John Roberts, seems skeptical. The justices...
And in the meantime, they'll check their equipment, control systems, and plan for the observations they'll be doing when they get close. In their first public video call since launching, Commander Reed Wiseman gave an update on their situation.
It was pretty tense moments there for a second, and I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort.
And finally this week, Pakistan and Afghanistan resumed talks in China, with Beijing mediating to calm tensions between the two sides. This comes as Middle East turmoil fuels wider regional instability. Analysts warn that easing pressure along the Afghan border is essential, as Pakistan's military faces the risk of being stretched across both its western and Iranian frontiers. Hira Mustafa reports from Islamabad.
Pakistani officials say the talks aim to find common ground to tackle terrorists allegedly operating from Afghanistan, a charge Kabul denies. Beijing is mediating to try to broker a ceasefire. Clashes between the two neighbors since February have been the most intense in decades, leaving dozens injured on both sides of the border. Pakistan and Afghanistan representatives are meeting in China's northern city of Urumqi. Experts stress that stability in Pakistan's western border region is crucial, especially amid uncertainty in Iran. With Islamabad sharing a 900 kilometers border with Iran, any instability there could put additional strain on Pakistan's military.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
While digital communications coordinator Brian Tyler is considered by many of his coworkers to be the cutest guy around the offices of Western Psychological Publishing Services, employees conceded today the 27-year-old is not even particularly attractive.
Brian gets a lot of attention from girls around here, but if I saw him in a bar, I don't know if I would even notice him. Put him next to Glenn or Mike, and then, sure, he actually looks pretty good.
Co-workers explained to reporters that by everyday standards, Tyler would at best be considered moderately good-looking, but explained that given the abundance of unattractive men at the publishing firm, female employees often go out of their way to make small talk with the 27-year-old at his desk or eat lunch with him in the office kitchen.
I saw him walking to work the other day, and half the guys on the street were easily better looking than him. But here, he's the hottest guy around. It's almost kind of sad. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd still him.
This is the Onion News Network.
You can help spread the ideas of liberty with our Patreon for just $5 per month at amps.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Lori, and on the most appropriate day possible, the savior of Free Talk Live has returned.
What?
Richie Rich.
Mark's not here. No, I'm just kidding. That sounds like something he'd say, though.
Of course. That's why I say stuff like that. Because it's funny.
It's funny
because we have double the resurrection, right?
There you go.
So this is better than just regular Easter.
I thought you were going to use your line too, and I was just waiting for it.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
My friend called it, or texted me and said Happy Blood Sacrifice Day, which is pretty funny, but a little inaccurate. Autism had to point out that this isn't the day of blood sacrifice. Friday was, or whatever. Autism had to point it out. But it is. It is a blood sacrifice that millions of people think is something good, and that disturbs me really badly.
It's been so long since I Catholiced that I don't remember any of that, like when anything happened. Like I was trying to remember today, when is Lent? Like when did it end? Did it end? Is it going to end soon? When does it end?
That's a mystery to me.
No, that's it. It's ended.
It's ended today?
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Friday or whatever, like Friday's, whatever.
I was just wondering because I had...
Count 40 days from, Ash Wednesday and whatever day that happens to be.
Whenever that was.
Yeah.
The day after Mardi Gras.
It was on a Wednesday.
40 days is a really long time to do any kind of restricted diet. So, I mean,
It doesn't have to be a diet.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can give up anything.
Most people are
It's
lazy.
cool. People can do that and everything for something they believe in and everything. It's just not my thing. We do have a caller on the line, and that's what Free Talk Live is all about. So let's go to the phones. We have unscreened caller on Free Talk Live. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Can I promote my new AI movie? It's called The Jones Plantation 2 Co-Ownership Boogaloo.
We just said no, and he went on anyway.
It makes him like really hard to understand when he tries
I'm
to do the
making a
voice to it.
trilogy. I'm actually making a trilogy. With The Jones Plantation 3, there's always homesteading. I mean, seasteading. Live free and die.
I was a big fan of seasteading.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's wrong with seasteading?
I just the reason I stopped really paying attention to the project is because it seemed, well, I mean, they've been doing it for like 20 or 30 years now, and it's all theoretical, and they haven't built a prototype, right? And they haven't tested anything. They're like, oh, we got this new idea that we're going to do the seasteading on. It's like, well, yeah, okay. Wait, just like most things, wake me up when you got something going. So
I searched libertarian in the Epstein files, and one thing I found was this person, oh man, I'm not going to remember what their name was, messaged Jeffrey Epstein he forwarded an article to Jeffrey Epstein and was all nasty, and he was like, look, this is a Peter Thiel investment, seasteading. Like, he was being like, these idiots. Of course, he's doing this because he's a libertarian, and that's why libertarian was in that. And then Jeffrey Epstein just kind of keeps replying back to him like a one word, kind of like a joke about it. Like, he's like, oh, that'll work, or something like that. I'm not quoting him. I don't remember at this point. And the guy is like, maybe we can set up tolls in the sea they have to pass.
Oh, like the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh my God, that's a good segue.
Nailed it.
We do have to talk about this one thing Trump said today because it's pissing off the Christians, but I honestly think it's not that serious. Well, okay, wait. I think it's serious. You
can't even read the whole quote on air.
Right. This is what I'm saying is not that serious. I don't think when he said praise to Allah, I think he's joking. Like, that doesn't even make sense. He's our first Jewish president, so why would he be saying praise to Allah? Thanks for the call, Skeeter. Trump
on Easter.
Yeah. It's clearly a joke, but Trump drops F-bomb and says praise to Allah in wildest social media post yet, which possibly
is. It was pretty wild.
Maybe not of all time, like since 2016 and everything, probably not the most crazy, but it says Donald Trump has warned the crazy bastards, quote, that's a quote, in Iran to open up the Strait of Hormuz in a foul-mouthed social media post on Easter Sunday, which in a way, it kind of does show he's the first Jewish president because he's just like, he's not being reverent to the holiday at all. And
it's the first time I've ever been on Truth Social proper because it was so outrageous. I'm like, well, I got to see if it's actually true. It seems so much like satire. Like, well, okay, let's see what Truth Social actually is and follow the links.
I guess I was just being a drone. I just believed it was real when I saw people talking about it on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, because most of them said, like, no joke, this is real. It's still up there. I'm like, well, okay, let's follow that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Somebody might out there be like, oh, it's still April Fool's Week or something.
Yeah.
April Fool's Week.
That would piss me off. It says the U.S. president posted on Truth Social, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. Freaking terrorist.
Threatening war crimes.
Yep, terrorist. There will be nothing like it. This is continuing the quote. Open the F-ing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. And that is so evil and crazy. Seriously crazy. Why is he calling them crazy bastards? Like, they have their things that they want him to stop doing, and he's the one aggressing.
Yes.
Did you hear him saying, joking, air quotes, that he's going to call it the Strait of Trump?
No, I didn't hear that.
And he was like, oh, people are going to say it's a joke, but I rarely joke.
Yeah, no, he's not joking. Yeah. He's just floating the idea out there. So
see
that
how
if
people will react to it.
Does he rarely joke? I don't know about that. He's always, I don't know, I guess it's always based in something.
I think it's always like, he always leaves it ambiguous, so that way he would just be like, oh, it was a joke if it doesn't land.
Right.
You know?
Smart.
Yeah.
I really like you if you like me back. Just kidding.
Right.
Oh my God. It says that the wild post came after Iran showed no signs of capitulating, striking oil fields and other economic infrastructure targets in neighboring Gulf countries. Oh, okay, so Iran was doing that. And it says, Iran's embassy in the UK replied to Trump's post, quoting great American writer Mark Twain, "It is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you are a fool than to open it and remove all doubt." Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good quote in general.
Except he talks a lot. Like everyone knows he's an idiot. You can't do anything about it.
Right.
What are you going to do?
The other thing about him
You missed the first 3 times.
making it look like he's a fool by saying all this is just like, I don't think we actually have the power to go and do all the stuff he's saying. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is saying that the U.S. Government doesn't actually have the jets and all of those things that they need, and they'll run out, and then we would have to go into like a wartime economy and everybody works in factories to actually get this done. And Iran has been preparing for 40 years in mountains, and it's their terrain.
Yeah, I tend to disagree with that. Oh, well, hear me out. It just depends on like how much collateral damage you want, right? Like, can they rush the Marines and like do a water landing of Karj Island and take it over? Yeah, absolutely. Right. But the casualties are going to be immense, right? But we have a lot of troops, right? And they're always, like, oh no, like the 13th service member died in Iran from the United States, but the United States blew up more civilians than that in the first run of bombings of Iran, right? So like they're losing more at a faster clip than the United States military is. But if the United States military wants to, right, you can throw bodies at it, right? More meat for the grinder.
And that
just
is,
throw bodies at it.
In Democracy, the God That Failed, that is what Hans Hermann Hoppe says is the problem with like our American setup, is that there isn't a one person that'll be responsible, so they end up doing things like throwing tons and tons of human lives at an issue because they won't. No one will ever be able to just make Trump pay. You know what I mean? Like if we had a king, he's actually making the case that monarchy is better than democracy, but he's not actually a monarchist. Yeah. And
no
just
kings,
because
though.
they actually have more like obligation, like it will be their legacy, and I'm not saying that I'm pro-monarchist, so maybe this isn't like the best thing to be saying on there when I don't know enough about the book, but I did listen to that part of it. But it's just, I could totally see Trump just not caring.
Yeah.
What's it to him? What's it to anyone in the government individually? Because no one ever has any direct responsibility because of the, checks and balances, such a good thing.
When they made it up front, like American lives are going to be lost, but this is more important for the long-term security of the world. Right, for 40 years and 40 generations, Iran won't be a threat, and Americans' lives will prosper because brave men and women now will have given their lives to this, battle against the evil Iranian government or whatever.
They're doing a horrible job coming up with that story, though, because usually, like, you come up with a story to sell something to get us into war, but it seems that most Americans are anti the war right now, or against the war right now.
Yeah, as they should be.
Yeah,
but,
I agree.
Like, but that's. How do I want to put this? If you go back to, like Vietnam, right, there were years of anti-war protests before there was a pullout. And we are done with like 1 month of this Iranian BS, right? So they can prolong this for a very long time. And the thing about Trump is, no matter, this is also why I don't like the journalism, right? Because every time he gets the mic, he just declares victory, or we're winning, or we're close to winning, or whatever, and the newspapers and the quote unquote journalists just like quote Trump, like, we've already won, right? And the New York Times come out and says victory assured, right? And whatever, I don't believe it. So I like to see what's actually going on, but they can throw military boats in there, and some of them are going to get droned, and some of them are going to get missiled, right? But we have more, right? They've shot down 2 jets. Right. Oh my goodness, 2 jets. Right. We've got many more jets than that they can just fly over and keep bombing. They took out the bridge. They're going to take out the civilian infrastructure on Tuesday, maybe.
Plus, they've got whatever other surrounding areas that are all joining the fight now too. They can just throw them at them. Also,
yeah, sort of. That's one of the things where the news media came out and said Iran is attacking their neighbors. Well, they weren't. They were attacking like American infrastructure in those neighboring countries.
Yeah, but like we talked about this before. Like if you're renting my garage and somebody doesn't like you and they blow up my garage, I'm still going to be upset.
Well, it's more like not me renting your garage, but you have the land, right? And you've allowed me to build the garage on there,
and then
I blow up the garage.
I'd be very upset.
Right next to her house and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's in my yard.
Gotcha.
So they're probably gonna. I don't know. I think they're joining in, is from what I've understood, but I'm not like the number one person keeping track of this because it's all stressful.
Yeah, but if Iran is launching attacks from those military, or if the United States is launching attacks into Iran from those military bases, right? Like you got to take them out. That's for the security of your own nation. Especially when up to this point, right? Iran hasn't done anything aggressive in the recent conflict.
Yeah, I don't even understand why this started. Like just because Israel said, like, we think that they're close to making nuclear weapons again when they say that all the time?
Yeah.
So that's really it?
I heard that Iran said that they were close to making nuclear weapons.
That would be news to me, because everything that Iran has said is our nuclear enrichment is for energy, and we're not enriching to the levels of weaponry.
Yeah.
And the old Ayatollah had a fatwa on enriching to weaponry, so anyone that was doing that was like, persona non grata in their own country.
I think they weren't allowed to do that. They were told, like, oh, if you want nuclear energy, you have to do it the same way all the other people that aren't allowed to have it do it, and like import from other places that are allowed to do it.
Well, they had to have been allowed, because part of the agreement was that the United Nations and America individually could go inspect the facilities, and every inspection came back, no, they're not making weapons.
To be honest, I also am not the closest following it, because there's so much constantly.
Yeah, it's changing a lot. It's like just last time that I really paid attention until this crazy tweet, I thought that things were going to end because he was doing this thing where he was like, I'm going to do it in 4 days. Okay, I'm going to do it in 6 days. Okay, I'm going to do it in 10. And I thought that was maybe his way of backing out without hurting his ego, but apparently not.
Well, and then he just goes right back in, because every time he says, like, no, we're in talks, we're having discussions, Iran comes right out and says, no, we're not. You haven't met our demands, and these are our demands.
Which is kind of hilarious.
Right.
It's kind of funny and crazy that Trump is being like, well, I talked to them and they agreed. And they're like, right. He's crazy. We didn't talk to him at all.
We're both going to operate the Strait of Hormuz. It's going to be me and Ayatollah in the booth watching the ships go by.
Did he say that?
Not exactly.
Oh, my God.
But it's not verbatim, but he did say it. He said me and the Ayatollah will jointly operate the Strait of Hormuz.
Wow.
So...
He says, explaining his hopes that a deal can be reached before Tuesday's deadline, Trump told Fox News, I think there's a good chance tomorrow they are negotiating now, which we don't know that's true because he's lied to us. If Iran fails to make a deal, Trump said, you're going to see bridges and power plants dropping all over the country. If they don't make a deal fast, I'm considering blowing everything up and taking over the oil.
Yep. Way to say the quiet part out loud again.
Right.
Yes, that's good.
We're getting the oil. Venezuela had a lot of oil, so we took it. Iran has a lot of oil, so we're going to take it.
I don't think there are quiet parts anymore. Like I haven't seen that be a thing since this whole administration started.
Which is even worse, because you're supposed to get outraged anyway.
Right.
No one seems outraged about this.
That's kind of how I feel about the Epstein stuff too. It's like I knew about this stuff since like 2011. I learned about MK Ultra and Project Monarch, and I'm like, well, they're like raping children, and then 2016, I'm like, everybody's going to wake up to this. It's Pizzagate. It came out. There's proof. And nobody woke up to it. Now, Epstein, it's like, okay, you can't ignore this. Yes, everybody just does.
Yep.
It's just in your face. So, yeah, it's like there are no quiet parts anymore.
That's the frustration of being Edward Snowden. He's like, oh, this will wake him up. Like, nah, you're just chilling in Russia now. And persona non grata in the United States.
Yep.
And nobody cares.
Right. Somebody made a movie about you and everybody was like, oh, okay. Yeah. We'll go see that. Then we'll totally forget this whole thing happened.
Yeah. Ew, are they going to make a Jeffrey Epstein movie?
It's probably like out next week.
They do it so fast. Production.
Yeah. Oh my God. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammed Bagher Ghalib, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it, said Trump's reckless moves are dragging the United States into a living hell for every single family. He adds, make no mistake, you won't gain anything through war crimes. You called it Richie Rich. Ghalibaf said the only real solution is respecting the rights of the Iranian people and ending this dangerous game. Amnesty International also responded to Trump's expletive-laden post saying, what a revolting message.
Wasn't laden. There was like one F-bomb in there.
Well, there was that and bastards and hell. Yeah, things we can say on the radio. So
depends like how many pearls you wear, I guess.
Okay.
It says, in a post on X, Security General Agnes Calamard, oh, I can say that.
Yay.
Oh my God. Says Iranian civilians will be the first to suffer from the destruction of power plants and bridges. No more electricity, heating, or water, unable to flee the attacks, potential cascading war crimes.
Yep.
Trump's latest rant
the
on
people
his...
he liberated are going to get it worse when his war crime bombings continue.
Trump's latest rant on his Truth Social platform came the day after he issued a 48-hour deadline in another error-strewn message. He wrote, remember when I gave Iran 10 days to make a deal or open the Hormuz Strait? Time is running out. 48 hours before all hell will rain down on them. Glory be to God. That's weird. So he said glory be to God that time yesterday, and then he said praise be to Allah in the other one. That's so weird. That's like, just, I always think that they have some kind of weird ulterior thing they're doing, and it's some kind
I think
of
the Allah
energy.
one is more of an insult than anything else. Right? Because like the Iranians are probably praying to Allah for some sort of reduction in the violence, right? And now Trump is saying, well, he'll follow me because I'm in control.
Dang.
Your God will let you be destroyed by me. All praise be Allah.
Dang, that's so creepy. I saw before the Iran thing started, but tensions and like whispers of a war were happening at the time. But I didn't really expect it to happen because it's always like that. But before it like got hot, my friend sent me a video or maybe a picture. But anyways, it was showing that in Israel, they have their radars that them and Iran can both see over each other. And in Israel, they drew a Star of David, I think it was, and with their planes, their military planes. And in response, Iran drew the shape of the sword of Zulfikar, which is a Muhammad's sword. And so they were saying we're gonna fight each other.
All right.
And but I don't know. It's just weird that this genuinely is all about 3,000-year-old and 2,000-year-old religions, whatever it is. I don't know exactly how old Islam is. Anyways, I just don't like that. It's just the kind of thing that's going to make it to where nobody wants to back down. And
Israel won't participate in the ground invasion of Iran because they've already moved on to Lebanon.
Israel won't?
Yeah. Or at least that's what they said. Right? United States, you can go there on the ground and try to take over, but we're not going to be sending Israeli troops on the ground. That's a death sentence.
That's
Israel's
crazy.
not dying for this. That's why we have Americans.
Wow, that is crazy. I hadn't heard that. Iran has intensified its restrictions on the passage of ships through the Strait of Hormuz amid the ongoing U.S.-Israeli war. Iran insists that the world's vital energy lifeline, through which nearly 1/5 of global oil passed before the war, remains open to everyone except the ships tied to the U.S., Israel, and their allies. The British government is now preparing for a worst-case scenario if the strait isn't opened, with the U.S. having crude oil stocks and refineries that can run without imports. Syed Mohammed Mahdi, wow, that's harder to say than the other one. So let's say it says a presidential spokesperson. I don't know for what country, though. Wrote Sunday on the social platform X that the reopening of the vital waterway can only happen if transit revenues are partially earmarked to compensate Iran for war damages. U.S.-Israeli strikes have already destroyed Iran's tallest bridge, which links Iran's capital with the western city of Karaj, after Trump said he wanted to take the nation back to the Stone Age. Yeah, I forgot. That was another horrible thing he said. And it's gross.
Not a military installation, just a civilian bridge connecting two cities.
That's crazy. Were there people on it that died?
That I don't know.
Wow.
Almost certainly. I don't know.
Looking at a picture of it, and that's high up in the air.
I don't know how often bridges are unoccupied for that stretch, for that expanse.
That's huge and really high up in the air. It says he also revealed that the U.S. had tried to arm anti-regime protesters in Iran, but they were intercepted. We sent them a lot of guns, we sent them through the Kurds, and I think the Kurds kept them, he told Fox. Well, the craziest thing about this is just the fact that there are people out there that are supporting this.
The Trumpanzees or the Trump tards or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
the maggots.
Mike Levin.
Okay.
And recently there was some libertarian dang, and I'm going to forget
Ben Shapiro.
Well, there's actually like a libertarian guy that came out and was saying, if you don't support this, then basically you are worse than the, oh man, I should figure out who it is before I say. They were saying like, you're worse than the communists if you want America to fail.
Okay.
And I was like, that's a crazy twist. That's a crazy way to twist the facts of this, because ultimately it's just...
Yeah, what happened to libertarians being pro-peace?
Anti-war, yeah. It's just like, obviously libertarians don't not believe in violence at all, because we believe in...
defensive violence?
Yes, defensive violence. But this is not that. So how can anybody be okay with this?
Yeah.
And the whole thing where people have just decided the word Western equals freedom, and they're saying like, well, this is a non-Western country. Iran is awesome. You just need to go like look at YouTubers going to Iran and visiting and learn about their like 4,000-year-old culture from before the Muslims got there. That was so awesome. And Google the Scroll of Cyprus. I think it's called the Cyprus Cylinder. More coming up, more Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160.
Never grocery shop when you're hungry. I'm Holland Cook with Inflation Hacks. Money Talks News urges against serving size portions. They're convenient, but you're paying for packaging and the labor to assemble it, as you will see by comparing unit price with bigger sizes that you can baggy up yourself. And demote meat from its starring role to the supporting cast in tasty casseroles and soups and stews. Regardless of how carefully you shop, you're racing the clock because food expires. Slightly stale bread makes great French toast, or you can use it for breadcrumbs. And you can freeze breads, bagels, and muffins. Let them thaw overnight and they're good as new. Turn overripe bananas into banana bread, or freeze them and then mash them up in the food processor for a yummy and healthy dessert. How are you coping? Post your inflation hacks at andyoucanquoteme.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. The US says it's rescued one of the 2 crew members from a fighter jet that was shot down by Iran. President Donald Trump has been briefed on the situation as the search and rescue operation continues for the second person in that crew. Videos show a US transport plane and Black Hawk helicopter in the skies over Iran, apparently involved in that mission. The downed jet was reportedly a 2-seater F-15E fighter jet with a 2-man crew. It comes after US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the US had air superiority over Iran and could operate virtually unchallenged over the country. The Cuban government is releasing 2,000 prisoners in what it's calling a humanitarian and sovereign gesture. It comes as Washington has been putting increasing pressure on Cuba in recent months, including through a months-long oil blockade of the island. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Cuba's embassy in Washington said the release of the prisoners is designed to coincide with Holy Week, an important religious occasion in a country that's largely Catholic. According to the New York Times, the prisoner release includes young people, those over 60, foreign nationals and Cubans who live overseas. It's unclear if Cuba's decision is to appease Washington, whose oil blockade has contributed to devastating power outages in recent months. In March, Donald Trump told reporters he believed that he would have the honour of taking Cuba without providing further explanation as to what he meant. Mitch McCann, New York.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen says he and his team are feeling pretty good as their Orion spacecraft takes them to the far side of the moon. The 4 astronauts are now hundreds of thousands of miles from the Earth as part of NASA's Artemis II mission. FSN's Stuart Smith has more.
The trip will take the astronauts further from Earth than anyone has been before, in a mission to observe but not land on the far side of the moon, which is never visible from Earth. After slingshotting around the Earth a few times to build up momentum and the right trajectory, the crew are now directly on their way to the moon, and are the first people to leave the Earth's orbit since the 1970s. They're still a few days from reaching the moon though, and in the meantime they'll check their equipment, control systems, and plan for the observations they'll be doing when they get close. In their first public video call since launching, Commander Reed Wiseman gave an update on their situation.
It was pretty tense moments there for a second, and I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort, and we are now just realizing the gravity of that.
The US economy added 178,000 jobs in March, above expectations. The US unemployment rate dropped slightly to 4.3%. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And with you on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie,
Lori,
and Richie Rich.
And I'd like to thank Andrew for being an amplifier with us here at Free Talk Live. That means that Andrew went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks to Andrew and everyone who supports us. Again, that's amps.freetalklive.com if you'd like to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. We really do appreciate everyone who contributes to us, but we don't appreciate liars, unscrupulous people,
dishonorable people,
dishonorable individuals,
shady.
It is time. Do you have the list pulled up too?
I do.
Okay. So this is now the time for me to once again call out the dishonorable Ricky from the Commonwealth. The bettings have concluded. We're at the end. There's no more bets for him to win or lose. So just to recap for anybody now tuning in, several years ago, Ricky called in and wanted to make a bet on some predictions. And so I took him up on the bet, and we spent several months going back and forth, like narrowing these things down.
It's even worse that he started it. I mean, it'd be one thing if you really convinced him, like, take the bet, the bet, Ricky.
But his bet was so vague, right, that there was no way to determine a winner. And so we'd call in one week and we negotiate part of the bet until we got, some measurable way to determine whether or not he was right on his predictions. And I'm gonna go out on a very short limb and say he's lost all 3 bets now. So bet number 1. By July of 2025, the national average for gas meets or exceeds $10 a gallon. Well, clearly didn't happen by then. I win 5-. And although if you stretched out recently, right, there's some places that hit $10 a gallon with this whole Iranian thing. So he might have.
But it's not the national average.
But it's not the national average.
Where hit $10 an hour?
$10 a gallon? I don't remember, but there was like a picture on Reddit.
That's crazy.
Like, this darn gas station is charging $10 a gallon now.
Maybe it was California, because I know that they artificially inflate their gas prices to promote electric vehicles.
Yeah.
So
this says gas is $10 a gallon at a Big Sur station. I don't know what Big Sur is. Is that a place?
I think that's California.
Sounds like California.
Yeah.
Okay. By the end of 2025, the value of the U.S. dollar equals 0. Well, that clearly didn't happen. So he owes me another 5-. And the most recent one that concludes our bet, by the end of the first quarter of 2026, which, we're now in April, first quarter's over, March is concluded, the United States is a third world country. There's not a real good measure for that, but I'm pretty certain we don't live in a third world country.
No, I don't think so.
And I don't think there's a lot of people that will go look at the United States and go like, third world country.
No.
Maybe third world dictator.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to come up with. I was
Banana Republic.
The way that Trump acts, yeah.
Right, but I don't think that qualifies.
But not the quality of our life, yeah.
No, because we have
electricity,
bottled water,
paper.
Netflix.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad we're on the same page. So, and by the beginning of 2025, Ricky was supposed to have put 15-, and I would have subsequently put 15- into escrow, entrusted to Peakless Mountaineer, former host of Free Talk Live, and then we renegotiated that to Riley, also host of Free Talk Live, to hold the dash to be dispersed. Now that the betting is over, Ricky never did that either, and every time I call him out, he claims that he's going to do it or he needs more time. But what's the date on this? The date on my notes when I put this all together was January 21st, 2024. So this is, 2 years and some months in the making for Ricky to get his stuff together and come through.
I don't think
no scruples.
No scruples.
I don't think you're going to be able to get that out of Riley, because he told me due to gas prices being really, really hard on him recently, he had to get into it. I'm just kidding. He doesn't even drive.
Out of Ricky or out of Riley?
Oh, Riley. Did I say Ricky? Dang it.
No, you said Riley.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you mean get it out of Riley. Like, all he had to do was hold the dash.
Yeah, but I think he had to cut into it. No,
his dash?
For his gas, daily gas.
Okay.
Driving from here to there. Oh, Ricky's calling in. Sorry, I didn't notice. That was you, Ricky, from the Commonwealth. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind? Shady,
the dishonorable
unscrupulous,
Ricky from the Commonwealth.
Infamous, ignoble, fraudulent.
Miss Bonnie, good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Brother Richie, how you doing? I heard you talking on there. I listen every week,
Okay. Well, listen to this then, because I'm going to read this out for you.
Well,
I've created.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Richie.
All right. I'll hold on while you disparage yourself.
No, I did.
Besmirch your good name.
I did say the end of the first quarter, which is not quite here yet. So
yes, it is.
I can safely say it's not. I lost all 3 bets.
How many? What would be the end of the first quarter if not the end of March? That's 3 years into the year. That's 3 months into a 12-month year. That's 1/4. That's a quarter.
Yeah, this says quarter one is.
Will be the end of.
Yep, March 31st.
Okay.
April. You're right, Richie.
I know.
Well, you know what the good news is? I just recently put $1,000 in my bank account, which I think is more than enough to buy your dash.
Okay.
And I got somebody helping me with it because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I was just talking to him today.
Okay. So I've created an email address for you, Ricky. So you can either listen to this back or write this down. But if you want to get in touch with me to exchange wallet addresses for you to transfer the 15 dash over to me privately, the email address you can use is the dishonorable Ricky from the Commonwealth @richierich.me, and Ricky is just a Y there. I don't know how you usually do it, but the dishonorable Ricky from the Commonwealth @RichErich.me. You can email me there, and we can exchange wallets. Yes, that is a legitimate email address that I will receive email. Anybody can email it, but I'm specifically opening up for Ricky. The dishonorable Ricky from the Commonwealth @richierich.me.
Well, that's not funny, Richie.
I think it's hilarious. Took me 5 minutes to set up.
I got your money.
What's that?
I was hoping just to call Riley next week and have him give it to you.
Well, Riley's not going to give it to me until you give it to him. But at this point, you could just directly, email me at that email address, and I'll give you my wallet address.
Riley doesn't currently have the money
because the dishonorable Ricky from the Commonwealth never put it into escrow.
I'm not. Wait a minute. I'm not dishonorable because I have your money nice and safe.
Well, when I get it, I will retract that statement or correct that statement. But
and
until
you can delete the email.
But until and I can delete the email.
Well, I can't exactly show you my bank account at work.
I don't need to know your bank account. What I do know is part of the bet, Ricky, was that the money was supposed to be put into escrow at the beginning of last year. You dishonored at least that portion of it, even if you intended to make good on the rest of it.
Well,
beginning of 2025, 15 dash each put into escrow. You failed to do that. You had a year to do that at that time, and it's been over a year since that time, and you've done nothing to honor the bet, except come on here and claim that you intend to do it at some undisclosed time in the future.
Hey, Richie, do we got to go through all this email stuff? Wouldn't it be just as easy to call up the show and get your address?
No.
I don't know if that's just as easy.
You email me. And you email me the whatever wallet information you have, and I'll email you back my QR code and wallet address, and then you can make the transfer.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier.
Have you adjusted for the valuation that it would have been worth?
No, because it's just 15 dash.
I know, but 15 dash back then.
That was the agreement was.
Yeah.
Oh no. it still would have just been
Yeah,
15
because I've been having a lot
Yeah.
of trouble because I actually got outside help because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, Richie. With
Okay.
this.
Well, then give your outside help
gotta
my
battle
email
it.
address, which is the dishonorable Ricky from the Commonwealth at richierich.me, and I will work with them directly to get my 15 dash now that the betting is concluded and I'm still don't have 15 dash.
How do you spell Richie again, your name?
RICHERICH.
RICH.
.me.
Yeah.
Making that
Well-
email that name is just so petty, inconsequential,
It is
inconsiderable,
really
negligible, insignificant, small. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. Trifling. Those are good ones.
No,
I'm
it's,
just kidding.
it's definitely petty. It's not even the pettiest one that I've created now that I have my own domain. I have an ex that hasn't paid me for the items that she's never returned to me, and so every once in a while I email her from the email address that is similar to Ricky's with her name in there.
Nice.
Well, Richie, like I said, you don't have to worry about it. I went to the bank and I deposited.
Look, I wouldn't worry about it if you had
bill. Yeah, nothing
followed
to
through
worry
with
about.
putting in an escrow per the agreement at the deadline of which it was supposed to be put into escrow.
I
but
did
now I
have
got to
money
track you
problems.
down
Well, wait a minute, Richie. I did have money
like a loan
problems for
shark.
while. I really did, but I got the money in there.
Okay.
So.
I'm glad that is
Hey,
the case.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What's the current price of Dash right now?
About $30 for one. I looked it up.
Yep,
Okay,
3041
so I
according to my
definitely have
little.
more than enough in there, don't I?
Yep, because that's like $450 times 15.
But until it gets transferred to me, right? I don't care how much money you have. It belongs in my wallet.
And that's why I kind of think this conversation's a little over, because it's just, you've been called out, Ricky. All we can do next is see if you will follow through. You have the contact. Riley is definitely willing to help facilitate it if
Unnecessary
if you
at
wanna
this
go.
point. It was supposed to be an escrow. Now he can just pay me directly.
Well, thank you for the call, Ricky from the Commonwealth. We do have another caller on the line, so I am going to go to their call. Mr. Penguin is on Free Talk Live. You're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind, Mr. Penguin?
Hi, yeah. Have you guys heard about the Bitcoin bill that's in the? Well, it was in the Senate and
yes.
it passed, and it's in the House now. There's a House version of the bill.
Oh,
this is a local New Hampshire thing, or this is a federal?
This is well,
or somewhere else entirely.
It's a federal targeting of Bitcoin at the state level, and they've been going from state to state trying to get these bills passed that effectively ban Bitcoin and cryptocurrency sales via vending machines. They're basically using fear-mongering and AARP members to testify at the House and in the Senate, which basically they're using fear-mongering basically about Bitcoin because people can buy Bitcoin at vending machines all over the country, and then they can go and they can send these Bitcoin to scammers.
We know a lot about that here.
Is this
right?
Senate Bill 482?
It is. It's Senate Bill SB 482. Yep, that's the one I'm talking about.
It says that it regulates rather than bans them. It caps the daily transactions at $2,000, mandates warnings on kiosks, and requires operators to offer refunds. Wow, this is awful, though. This
is
very awful.
So this is misleading to say it regulates, because it does more than regulate. It bans it, because think about it this way. It will completely eliminate any profit margin and cost more to give refunds. And refunds that's not even accurate description, because you're giving them money that you already gave these people and they've already spent it, right? They've sent it onward to scammers. So even a single scammer getting one person that you sold Bitcoin to Bitcoin will result in your entire business model completely caving in. And it will no longer...
How can they prove it either? How can this AARP member or whatever the heck prove to me, yep, I sent it to an address and it turned out to be someone else, like, now give it to me? That's what I always wondered during Ian's trial. It's like, how do we know that they weren't on the other end of the computer?
There's
and
no,
his dumb lawyer never brought it up.
It's just people say so. It's what they're claiming. Whether or not it's true or not, we have no idea.
That refund part also, I think, opens up like a nice little arbitrage opportunity, right? You buy some Bitcoin, the price goes up, you sell it, you cash out. The price goes down, you get a refund, and then buy it back at the lower price.
It's completely irrelevant whether that occurs, because if the person who gets the Bitcoin sends it to a scammer, which you have no control over, you are now liable for that as the seller of that Bitcoin to that first person.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. It literally would undermine any banking or financial institution that exists if we applied the same rules to, say, cash vending machines, right? If I go to a vending, a cash ATM machine, right, at a bank, and I take out $1,000, and then I go and I give that to a scammer, is the bank going to be liable?
No.
Of course not, because it would completely undermine the whole banking system.
Mm-hmm. And there have been cases where banks have denied, helping out their customers. Because the scammers have the customers initiate the transaction, and the bank goes, "Well, you did this voluntarily. Did this voluntarily. We can't do anything about that if you pull that money out voluntarily."
Yeah, here's the thing. So all of these scammers, this is just one of their methods of getting basically money into their hands from old people, right? It's not like there's not 1,001 other mechanisms of them doing this. They've been doing it for many, many decades, long before Bitcoin's existence. They are still using money mules, okay? So that basically means that one person wires, a victim wires their money to another person who then forwards it onward to the scammer. They also use this thing called gift cards, okay? That's another mechanism. That was going on long before Bitcoin ever came into being. They also use basically I think they're called drops, basically where a victim will mail cash to an address that there is nobody living there. And then somebody else a mule will go and pick up money at that address. They'll basically wait for the UPS driver or the FedEx driver or the mailman to deliver that money. Basically, the point that I'm making is there are 1,001 different ways for scammers to get money, and the only one these bills are targeting is Bitcoin vending machines, which doesn't solve the problem. Now, there are ways that we could solve the problem here by presenting a bill that basically makes it so that it's harder for people who are aging to take out or withdraw more than a certain amount of money relative to their average expenses. So like it might be 1.35 times what they normally, anything above 1.35 times what they normally withdraw in a month. If it exceeds that number, an alert might go out to a family member or something like that. That would be a real solution to solving the problem in a more permanent way. But simply targeting cryptocurrency vending machines does absolutely nothing to inhibit scammers.
I can't believe that people in the New Hampshire Senate are this bad. I know that there's only like 2 that are actually libertarians and the rest don't claim to be. But the Senate has just been consistently the worst every time I hear about anything coming from these people.
Yeah, I mean, the Senate in New Hampshire is pretty bad. It's getting better. I think we have, in theory, like around 5 out of 24. But let's see. So it passed the Senate. But it doesn't take more than, I think, let's see. So what did I say? 24. So it doesn't take more than 24. What's that? Half of 20 is 10. So it doesn't take more than 12 people to.
I was told there'd be no math.
Yeah, I was like, what are we talking about? Sorry.
I know. That's funny.
You have Linux. Use the calculator.
Right. I have a computer science degree, which is math based. It's all math basically.
Letters.
But anyway, yeah. So no, I mean it's the House in theory. The problem is it only requires 50%, right, in order to pass one of these bills. So it's not hard. It's not necessarily that hard, for them to pass this stuff. But anyway, this is so on Tuesday at 1:00 at 1 Granite Place in, I believe, Concord, New Hampshire. There is going to be a hearing in the House on this bill to do this. Now, they have to pass the House version, they have to pass the Senate version. So we have an opportunity to cut this off, hopefully, if we can get enough people to show up at the House, at the hearing for the House and testify against this bill. Unfortunately, it's already passed the Senate, so it's not good. Obviously, this doesn't stop people from using Bitcoin entirely. It just makes it very difficult for people who haven't used Bitcoin before, or maybe out of Bitcoin
to get in. Yeah,
to get more.
Is this something you could petition the governor to veto as well? Then, if it gets through the House and Senate.
I mean, maybe, but it's one of these things where it's like, well, the governor's most of the time the governor is just going to sign whatever gets put forth unless he objects to it for some reason. But I think we just need to get more people, as many people as possible, to show up at the hearing for the House version of the bill and get in opposition of it. The problem is that they're exploiting old people, basically. So AARP, for those who aren't aware, is an organization that people who are retired, I guess to say it nicely, join. And it does various things, but you get like discounts and a bunch of other stuff. Anyway, it's
early bird
sort of like
special
for old people.
The Waffle House.
There's the powers that be, so to speak, are basically exploiting AARP or AARP members in order to get these bills passed. So what's going on is, I don't know if it's AARP directly, or I don't know exactly all the details, but it's something along the lines of AARP members are being contacted and told, and they're being fearmongered to, and they're getting them to come out and testify at these hearings.
Wow, I thought you were just making a joke at the beginning when you said that they're using AARP members. Wow.
No, I'm serious.
They're using the same tactics the scammers do.
Well, counter-activism then, just reach out to AARP and offer to, explain this to their members at some member meeting or a letter, to say like, hey, you guys have got this wrong. If you need an expert to give you the other side of things, here is my services being offered to you, so that you don't go around spreading this misinformation and have a bunch of people like reach out to the AARP directly for that.
Well, again, I don't know if it's AARP directly or I don't know all the details, so I can't. I mean, I'm talking about AARP. All I can tell you is that if you watch the hearing for the Senate version of the bill that passed, the people who came out to testify en masse during a snowstorm, by the way, I have no idea how they got there. Testified.
Democrats bust them in
with a ton of missing information. They didn't understand any of it, and they basically testified against the bill. And most of them said that they were AARP members, basically, is the gist of it. And there were a ton of people. We're talking, I don't even know. I think it was like 3 hours or something like that worth of testimony. So that's a ton of people. I don't know if it was 100 people who showed up, or I don't know exactly what the number was, but it was a lot of AARP members, basically.
Did you show up to it?
I unfortunately, I tried to go to it, and I can't remember what happened where I didn't end up making it. But there was 2 bills I think that day actually that were important. I'm trying to think of the other one. The other one I think had to do with vehicle registration. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, but anyway, I think I went to one. I think I went to one of the hearings on the vehicle registration, but it was on a different day. But there's a House version and there's a Senate version, right? So one of them I missed. Anyway, it was held at the same time as the Bitcoin hearing in the Senate, and so most of the people who would have gone to the hearing, and some of them who did, never actually got to speak against the Senate version of the bill when it was you had the opportunity to testify, because a lot of those people were at the other hearing on the vehicle registration. So, yeah.
Reach out to your neighborhood nursing home. Hey, we're going to do a Bitcoin presentation for you folks so you don't get scammed.
Yeah,
that'd be a nice thing to do, because it's honestly, it's like, but during the Ian's trial, I kept thinking like, this is more like the grandkids you said you live with fault than Ian's. Like literally, like there was this one woman that said, and my granddaughter who's like 18 took the pictures for me. She had no questions. You know what I mean? Like if this was actually being scammed.
Well,
she's an obedient grandchild.
We keep saying old people, right? Well, if you look at so I think in the case with Ian's trial and the Crypto 6, that was a little bit different, because I don't think, first of all, the average age of like these people was they were not elderly in any real sense. They were like, the average age was like less than the prosecution and the defense and the judge or something like that. I think
definitely.
Yeah,
younger than them all, but definitely younger than even Ian's lawyer, who's the oldest guy in like his mid-60s.
Outreach at the local middle school too, then.
Yeah, I mean, so they're basically the prosecution and law enforcement is sort of exploiting, and government and politicians, they're exploiting people's fears in order to achieve different objectives here. And while I don't doubt that there's plenty of old people who are being scammed, I do question a lot of the statistics that are being presented during hearings and things of that nature. I think one of the statistics was something like 90-something% of people buying from these crypto vending machines were victims, which is absurd. That's way too high.
That is absurd because when Ian owned 5 vending machines in New Hampshire, he didn't get anybody telling him hey, I got scammed from your vending machine when his contact's on there, but he did get the FBI contacting people and then convincing them they were scammed. More Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160.
Some of you have wanted to support Free Talk Live's mission on a monthly basis, but don't want to support Patreon. Now we have an alternative that also helps our premier streaming platform, Odyssey. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join at the top of the channel. You can subscribe for $5 per month, and unlike other subscription services, Odyssey adds their processing fee on top, so it'll cost a little over $5 per month, but Free Talk Live will receive the entire amount you pledged. Higher donation tiers are available if you're feeling so inspired. You'll get a special membership badge that's visible in the Odyssey chat room, and if we get enough supporters, we may enable members-only chat. This new subscription method is a great way to decentralize our direct listener support away from just Patreon and also support a libertarian-run business, Odyssey. Please visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join to subscribe to our Odyssey channel and help support spreading our message around the planet. Visit video.freetalklive.com and click Join today.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. On Friday, the United States said it had rescued one of 2 crew members from a fighter jet shot down by Iran. President Donald Trump was briefed as a search and rescue operation continued. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Videos show a US transport plane and Black Hawk helicopter in the skies over Iran, apparently involved in the rescue mission. Officials say one of the crew has now been rescued and is receiving hospital treatment. The whereabouts of the second crew member are still unknown. The downed jet was reportedly a 2-seater F-15E fighter jet with a 2-man crew. It comes after US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the US had air superiority above Iran and could operate virtually unchallenged over the country.
Meanwhile, a spokesperson for the Iranian military this week warned of incoming crushing, broader and destructive attacks after the US president said the war would continue for another 2 to 3 weeks. In a speech to the nation, Donald Trump said the US is on track to soon complete all of its military objectives against Iran. Ross Callan reports.
The response from Tehran after the primetime speech from the US leader was a warning that the US and Israel, quote, must pay for the aggression you initiated. A military spokesperson said Iran's military production takes place in places that you don't know at all, rejecting claims made by the United States leader that Iran's weapons stockpile had been widely depleted. There's no sign of a ceasefire in sight at the moment, with Iran's foreign ministry rejecting Donald Trump's claim that the country had asked for a halt to the fighting as baseless.
Meanwhile, US Supreme Court justices cast doubt on President Trump's attempts to restrict birthright citizenship, one of his most ambitious policy endeavours. The president took the unprecedented step of attending the High Court for oral arguments as conservative and liberal justices question the legality of his attempt to block the children of illegal immigrants born on US soil from automatically becoming citizens. Kate Fisher reports from the US Supreme Court.
Quite the welcome for President Donald Trump as he became the first sitting president to hear oral arguments at the Supreme Court over whether his executive order limiting birthright citizenship is legal. One of his arguments is that if unrestricted, it leads to so-called birth tourism, where pregnant women travel to the US to give birth so that their baby can have American citizenship. But the Chief Justice, John Roberts, seems skeptical. The justices also had vigorous questions for ACLU lawyer Cecilia Wang, but she found notably less resistance in her defense of birthright citizenship. A decision is expected by the end of June or early July.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen says he and his team are feeling pretty good as the Orion spacecraft takes them to the far side of the moon. The 4 astronauts are now hundreds of thousands of miles from Earth as part of NASA's Artemis II mission. Stuart Smith has more.
The trip will take the astronauts further from Earth than anyone has been before, in a mission to observe, but not land on, the far side of the moon, which is never visible from Earth. After slingshotting around the Earth a few times to build up momentum and the right trajectory, the crew are now directly on their way to the moon, and are the first people to leave the Earth's orbit since the 1970s. They're still a few days from reaching the moon, though, and in the meantime they'll check their equipment, control systems, and plan for the observations they'll be doing when they get close. In their first public video call since launching, Commander Reed Wiseman gave an update on their situation.
It was pretty tense moments there for a second, and I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort.
And finally this week, Pakistan and Afghanistan resumed talks in China, with Beijing mediating to calm tensions between the two sides. This comes as Middle East turmoil fuels wider regional instability. Analysts warn that easing pressure along the Afghan border is essential, as Pakistan's military faces the risk of being stretched across both its western and Iranian frontiers. Hira Mustafa reports from Islamabad.
Pakistani officials say the talks aim to find common ground to tackle terrorists allegedly operating from Afghanistan, a charge Kabul denies. Beijing is mediating to try to broker a ceasefire. Clashes between the two neighbors since February have been the most intense in decades, leaving dozens injured on both sides of the border. Pakistan and Afghanistan representatives are meeting in China's northern city of Urumqi. Experts stress that stability in Pakistan's western border region is crucial, especially amid uncertainty in Iran. With Islamabad sharing a 900 kilometers border with Iran, any instability there could put additional strain on Pakistan's military.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
5-Hour Energy CEO Manoj Bhargava claimed this week that the 13 deaths associated with his product were just collateral damage in his company's ongoing war against that 230 feeling. Quote, "We honor the sacrifice of all those who have fallen. I wish we could live in a world where you could get a spike of energy and no crash and not die. But that's not the world we live in." Passionate supporters have flooded social media, demonstrating the terrifying costs of midday drowsiness and fatigue, with consumers saying that when it comes to extra alertness in the mid-afternoon, they are willing to pay any price.
As the wife of a 5-hour energy drinker, we've had to sacrifice a lot in the name of long-lasting bursts of energy that carry you out of the workday and into the evening. We knew the risks going in.
Bhargava says his company has no plans to stop until the 230 feeling is completely wiped off the map, at which point they will turn their attention to that 330 feeling, 430 feeling, and people with a case of the Mondays.
This is the Onion News Network.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Welcome back to Free Talk Live. 603-283-6160 is the phone number to get in on the conversation with us. And we're going to go right to the phones and to the fun in a second. 603-283-6160. Forkfest 2026 has had multiple changes. Please pay attention to this info, it may be new to you. I don't know how long I'll keep it like that because it's only changed since like the beginning of March, but June 22nd to the 29th at the Northern Waters Outfitters Campground in Errol, New Hampshire, the owner has offered to host 100 campers at his campground, which is being closed just for Fork Fest. Anyone else who'd like to stay in the surrounding area may come for a day pass for free. To camp there is only $10 per night per person, which is a deal on the typical rate. And the only real restriction he's given us for the event is no nudity, which I think is totally fair compared to the amount of restrictions that Rogers started imposing. Fork Fest
seems a lot cheaper than Rogers too.
Oh yeah, it is.
By a lot.
By a lot.
Forkfest.party. That's FORK fest.party for more info, and forkfest2026@gmail.com to sign up as one of the 100 campers. And yep, that's forkfest with an F .party, and it's going to be really fun. We already have about like 50 people that are going to go, and I just think it's going to ramp up. I only just made a Twitter for it. There's going to be a couple events like the LP National Convention in Michigan that I'm going to go to with another Free Stater, and we'll be able to really try to get people who want to come that are cool. I so far haven't been like that hard pushing it because I want it to be like the coolest people, and it's like everybody awesome from the Free State is going. Now we just need people from outside of it too. But yeah, if you're interested, forkfest.party. Let's go to the phones. We have Michael on the line. Michael, on the screen of the call, you said that you wanted to talk about your house got swatted.
Well, I actually wasn't at my house. I was sitting in front of a family members of mine, his house, and he was gone at the time. So of course I'm waiting for him. We had basically made an appointment. You know, I'm going to meet him there in an hour, and he's down at his mother's house, and I know he's coming. Well, someone had apparently called 911, and they've given details all the way down to my very name. Now, keep in mind, I haven't spoken to anybody. You know, I'm sitting here approximately 15 minutes, and I'll be quite honest with you because I love y'all. I was rolling myself a blunt, preparing for my homeboy to come home, and, you know.
Loitering with drug paraphernalia in a strange neighborhood.
Requires swatting.
They came with a big force. It was a state trooper involved. This is in Texas, and it was approximately 4 deputies. I'm in a small town. I'm in a town of about 2,500 people. Okay, so they have about 2 or 3 deputies that are on duty at a time, and so it's basically their full force and a state trooper. And so they come down. I have my windows up, keep in mind, and so I was just going to sit here and not even acknowledge them. I thought maybe my homeboy had a warrant or whatever. I know he's not home, so it's cool. Okay, they come directly in my vehicle, open my door, grab my arm. I look at him. What are you doing? He says, "Don't do this. Get out of the car." No, excuse me. You need to tell me what you're doing, brother. Why you open my door? And the guy knows my name. And believe it or not, he's a professional. He's a professional officer, and he knows how to, you know, not necessarily adhere to all the rules, but he knows what to do and what not to do. So he said, "It's about you specifically." And as he said that, I heard my name, my full name, come across the police radio. None of those officers had their radio in their hands. This was coming from dispatch. So at that point, I said, okay, let me find out what this is about. This is going to be real interesting. And it was. They had a detailed report about me using a weapon against a victim, right? And just all kinds of things like that. I don't know all the details. Of course, they didn't share everything with me, you know, because I'm the suspect. And so I was in handcuffs. At the back of my vehicle. They wanted to put me in a police car, but I went ahead and hit my knee because, no, I don't want to be in a police car. I'm not arrested. You said I'm detained. And let's do this investigation. So they go around, walking around in the whole neighborhood. I don't know where all they went or who all they talked to, right? But during the course of the investigation, the state trooper, you know, that's sitting there, she's a woman, and she's telling me how even if this results in nothing, you know, substantial, I enjoy these encounters because I get a chance to educate the public, is what she told me.
Wow.
And I let her get her spiel out. Yes, I'm very respectful. I let her get all of it out. And then I said, "Ma'am, I understand that to an extent. But here's where I differ with you. You're not educating me. Right now, you're almost at the point of violating my rights to the extent that it's a lawsuit because I have to backtrack. They've falsely arrested me in this town before, and they've dropped charges. I've got all the documentation, things like that, right? So let it be understood. It's documented that they've done things to me personally that they shouldn't have. So I said, you're bordering on a lawsuit at this point because I'm still in cuffs, and I have a small inclination that your investigation has resulted in not what you heard on that 911 report. And I'm still in handcuffs, and they're very uncomfortable. And she then made it very clear, I'm not the one to put you in handcuffs, sir. Who is? Right? And there's the deputy there that's, basically holding my arm. And he said, oh, I am. And he's kind of a new deputy. And so he hurried up and conferred with I guess you would say the officer in charge. His name was Bull. His real name is Bull. The one I told you this, he's professional. He went somewhere and spoke with someone. I have no clue at this point.
Bull the bully.
As soon as he pulled up, I'm sure he called whoever he's got to call, the sheriff himself, for all I know. I'm well known in this town. I'll just let that be known, okay? And this is Texas. And yes, I've been in the prison system for 18 years of my life. I'm 45 years old. Oh, by the way, Ian, keep your head up, brother. I love that y'all are keeping his story current. You're doing excellent jobs. I love this show. I love you guys. And just let Ian know that, I'm proud of him just from what he's accomplished already in his life, right? But I know he's got big things going on. Basically, what he's got in his mind, I already know. He's a priceless person to me, and he doesn't even know who I am, right? So let him know he has love and support. He has love and support out here that he'll never know about, never hear about, but we're out here. And so they did hurry up and let me out of handcuffs, and they did say at that point, you're free to do whatever you want. But now I want to keep in mind, remember I told you about that blunt and my paraphernalia and whatever else? Well, when they opened that car door and drug me out, I say, they didn't drag me out. I'm too big for them, but, I stepped out, and I never even acknowledged my vehicle being open. I didn't even pay attention to it. There's nothing in there y'all need to be interested in. And I went on about my night, but I followed up with it. The following day, I called and I said, I'd like to speak to a deputy because a crime was committed against me. A 911 report was made that I believe was maliciously made. And I don't know who made it, don't know what their agenda is, have no clue. I want y'all to do y'all's work. And so I wrote out a little one-page statement of the incident, what happened, what time occurring, where I was at and why I was there. And, well, actually, let me rephrase that. The first thing they were asking me is what I was doing there. And I love this. See, I would have never known how to even respond to these things except that I owe them an answer until I started hearing Mark and Ian on the radio. Believe it or not, I was already in the penitentiary system before I already had an awakening, like I have now. And I love these guys. Mark, too. I called in the other day. I was hearing him on there. I don't know if it was pre-recorded or not. I didn't get on. But Mark, too, I used to love hearing Ian and Mark exchange. It's so hilarious and dynamic. But you could tell they love each other. But Ian would just clown Mark so hard. It was hilarious. And,
yes, it was.
This was in a time when, Mark was basically giving up on the Free State Project thing and moving on.
Now he's kind of back.
Is he, though?
One foot in the door more.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm still trying to catch up on past shows, and of course I'm real busy. You always plan in prison, and then your life out here is you will lose focus if you do not try and stay concentrated on your goals and your dreams and what you've got going on. The world is built to distract you for the wrong reasons. But I want to get back to Ian. Bonnie, I've heard y'all's whole story. I know you're from Texas or Utah and all that. I just know a lot of stuff, but it's basically like 3 or 4 years old because it's not current because I've been moved around and a lot of things going on in my life as well. But I just want y'all to know that your show really is a very important show, I believe, to a lot of people. You might not realize it, and I don't necessarily know these guys that are on the host right now with you, Bonnie, but you guys are excellent, bro, and you have the right mindset and just freedom. The way Mark and Ian basically used to pitch it is before Trump was even elected the first time. And I was just hearing these guys that I'd never heard nothing like it before. You understand?
Yeah, I know. I agree. I feel like before I found out the ideas, because the thing is the show is awesome and I love Ian and Mark specifically for doing it, but it's the thing that makes them so different and awesome is they're not right or left. They were talking about ideas that when you first hear it, you're just this changes everything. This is amazing. For me, it wasn't Free Talk Live, to be honest. It was Tom Wood's show. When I first found out about the ideas of libertarianism, I was addicted to Tom Woods to where my parents were Bonnie, we're kind of worried about you. I'm not even trying to be funny. Yeah, that literally happened because all I wanted to do was listen to the Tom Woods show and Contra Krugman and learn more and more and more about this stuff because it was the world finally made sense. And I love Ian and Mark for making a show that got the ideas out to people, and I totally agree with that.
So having been in the system and having experienced this, is there any particular advice or information that you would like to give to someone who might be facing a similar situation that you may have learned on Free Talk Live that they can then use if approached and dragged from their car by police unnecessarily?
Oh, most definitely. So, for example, when they were asking why I was there, what I was doing, I paused for a moment. I let them know, I'm conscious of your question. I don't have to answer it. I want you to know that I'm aware that I can be completely silent right now. But I'm going to tell you what I'm doing here. What I'm doing here is I'm living my life, minding my own business. And this is my family's residence. And I've known him my whole life. So if you got any other questions concerning this or what I'm doing here, I've already answered it. And that's basically how I handled that. As far as getting in the system, what I did back in the past, that's another thing. I was kind of going through a transition in my life at that point. If you're going to continue to steal, lie, you're lying to people. Why are you lying to people? What do you owe them? You're lying to yourself. You understand? So if you're building a life or you're living a life where you're lying and you're stealing, first and foremost, right? If you're lying and you're stealing, you're telling yourself you don't deserve that thing, or that thing has more importance than your freedom, however you want to look at it. And if you're lying, then you're telling yourself, I don't deserve the truth, right? So I'm not going to tell everybody else the truth. So I'm going to just basically go ahead and just destroy myself. Whenever you're lying and you're stealing, you're lying to yourself and you're stealing from yourself.
And you also said you're a known entity in that town. So do you think that some of the reaction from the officers had to do with your priors and your reputation, and that's why they may have approached more harshly than they would someone who wasn't already in the system?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially in a small town like this. I have such a reputation that is unwarranted, right? That people like build these little legends and stuff. And like when I've been gone for like 10 years. So who knows what? And I did express this to the officer at that time. If I'm able to get a hold of that body cam, I'll send it to y'all or something like that. If we may, share it with y'all or whatever. But I mean, my cousin came along and she was kind of interested in what's going on as well, because this is our family's, residence or, property anyway. And so she was listening along, and she told me the next day on Easter, when we were having our Easter event here at my dad's house, she said, I was concerned at first and thought you had a warrant or something and were going to jail. And she said, I stopped and I listened to you. And she said, you were handling them so well that I drove away because I knew nothing was going to happen to you. Which, hey, Ian said it so eloquently at one point. I'd lived it and didn't even realize it. He said, anytime you have an encounter with the police, your freedom is at risk. Your life is at risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, that too. Yeah. That too to an extent, especially when it comes to guns drawn. That's another thing. The younger officer, you brought up my past, my reputation or whatever. I had never seen the young officer that had the handcuffs on me, and the one that, he volunteered. Yes, I put the handcuffs on him and went and talked to his supervisor. Well, he said, I had never heard of you until, right, you got out. Right. So he's relatively new. I got out 8 months ago. And so he had never heard of me until then. So you only assume, what did he hear? All the bad stuff. Right. Yeah. I would hope in the future you would ask your cousin to not drive away and to start filming from a, safe distance, a legal safe distance, but so she doesn't get into trouble too, for your safety. Because who knows, if they were to have done something, what would have happened to that body cam footage? Oh, bro, absolutely. I sat here and thought this today that I should have filmed, but it's funny you bring that up because she literally got the sheriff in this town fired. The cousin I'm mentioning, she's been through her own thing in this town, these small towns, but it happened. So it worked in her favor, but she was up to some no good stuff, but he wanted her so bad that he held her in the jail for 3 days without even notifying the justice of the peace. Some states call them magistrates and other things, but it's the justice of peace sets your bond and gives you your rights. The sheriff was so intent or had a personal vendetta against this girl that he waited 3 days to notify the judge. The judge himself notified the state, I don't know what it was, the Texas Rangers, I believe, and made a bigger investigation out of it. And the sheriff lost his job, and she won a small lawsuit. But nice. So it's documented in this town that they will do dirty and corrupt things and take your freedom, at leisure.
The thing about what that lady cop was saying that pisses me off is she's like, well, I like to be able to educate the community by arresting them. It's like, you are terrorizing and harassing a person that should be free to go. So it's there's nothing you could possibly do to spin this in a positive direction. That's why I'm mixing those words up.
Just to play devil's advocate, should be free to go. However, if they got a 911 call and they identified someone who had recently been violent towards someone else, right? That's the
They
one
didn't
thing.
walk into somebody actively doing something. They're not the prosecutor, the jury, and the
I
you
get
know
it, but
they
like
they
that's,
only have the right to investigate what's going on, talk to you. They didn't do the next step wasn't all right, and he started swinging at us. That's okay, understandable. You know what I mean? They can only arrest you if they catch you doing a crime, or if there are like witnesses saying that they saw you doing a crime. That is how due process works.
well, but they had a witness.
No, they had an anonymous person. You have to be able to confront your witness.
That's in court. That's not at the arrest.
No, I think it is because
No, it's
that's
not.
the whole point.
No, you don't address witnesses at the arrest. So what will happen is, I can give you, trust me, I'm very well versed as you would expect. But so what they did, they went around the neighborhood knocking on doors, right, the immediate houses. Okay, I don't know how many answers they got or didn't get. They went also to a man who was walking down the street around that time. Somebody had said that's other man's name as well, right? He's the guy that's local. They went and found that man, and that man gave them. I know what he said because I talked to him since. He said, "No, I've known him my whole life, and we barely even said a couple words because he was basically on his way, and I'm out there minding my business, and I don't want to discuss nothing with him."
But that was the search for the suspect.
Right. Well, no, this guy, he's kind of got a little bit of a I won't say a mental illness. He's got that Tourette's tic type of thing, and so believe it or not, what he told him was very good because he basically said that I was there at the time that this caller is saying this incident occurred, and none of those things occurred. And that's what I like about it, and that's why I've followed up with it, because it's not an anonymous caller. When you utilize the 911 system, they can say they don't want to say their name all they want, but when you utilize 911, they are able to track that 100%, any state. Anybody can argue with me all they want. I can validate it. I can prove it.
But even still, you don't confront your accuser on the street. You confront him in court.
Okay, but the point is that you just because somebody claims something, it's like I can go up to a cop right now and just be like, that person right there did something, but that person's just standing there. The cop doesn't put them in handcuffs because I said it. The cop investigates. The cop talks to them. The cop's like, why don't you want to talk to me? And then tries to escalate it so they can put them in handcuffs. But you don't just put them in handcuffs because we got a call. Like, they don't do that. That's not right. Like, they're not supposed to.
Bonnie, I'm sure you've seen the videos where they say you're not under arrest, but you're being detained. That's exactly what you're talking about. They do that all the time. If you run up and say that man just raped me, I'm going in handcuffs fast. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
And then if it turns out that you did not rape her, right, then you can sue her, and they'll arrest her for making false claims.
Whenever I
don't know if that's true. I think that's one of the ones that like you can't.
Just because it's rape?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they say that.
Then change the crime to something that you can.
Because they say that like it'll make people scared.
Okay, so here's the thing on that. If she can, if it can be validated that she is falsely doing that for her own, she's doing it maliciously. Let's say if it can be proven, then she's in trouble. If she is tested and there's no fluids and all these things like that, right? It can just be inconclusive. And then they'll still pressure a man, right? Yeah. They're going to pressure him hard to make sure he didn't rape her. They're going to pressure real, real hard to make sure that rape never happened.
It doesn't have to be about rape to just to get the conversation.
But if you make false claims to 911 or an officer, you are in violation of the law as well.
Yeah, but they also don't really go after people for that. My sister would be under the jail. She calls the cops on people for things that are fake all the time, and literally
she should be in jail.
I know. They don't do anything about it. But anyways.
I feel like most people, like there are a lot of people call the cops frivolously for things like, oh, someone walked across my lawn. And I think that they don't realize that when you call the cops on somebody, you're saying, I'm okay if that person gets shot.
Yes.
Well, frivolity is different than lying, right? If someone
you got to prove that they're lying. Like that's the thing.
I got you. But if you say someone walked across my lawn at 12:30, right, and no one walked across your lawn, and they called and they pulled the camera footage and says no one was crossing the lawn, right? That's a lie. Right. But if they say like you catch someone walking across your lawn and they didn't do any damage, right, then the cops are less likely to do anything about it. But you didn't lie. It's just a frivolous call.
Well,
I think that's probably why
it's like calling the cops because black people are on the beach. They're not supposed to be here.
I think that's why people don't get in trouble for it, because it's like they can't prove that you did it with like malicious intent very easily. You know what I mean?
Right. But making a false claim is absolutely malicious.
Yeah, you have to prove that it's a false claim, though.
Yeah,
which is hard.
I followed up the next day because They had the incident down all the way to the details of my name. However, the other details that they had given, right, which included this other person's that I told you the guy has Tourette's, right? They had such detailed of who we are, but the resulting event that they said they witnessed and so forth was completely fraudulent. So that's why I think it could be proven in this case. But what you guys are talking about is the large discretion that officers have. The word is discretion that we're looking for.
Yeah.
They can literally use their discretion. Remember I told you they falsely arrested me in this town? They used their discretion that night to falsely arrest me, and he used it based like when they write a report, right, he can say he had reasonable suspicion of something, even though there is no reasonable suspicion of nothing. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You just made up a reasonable suspicion to make it look good on your piece of paper, and now I'm in your jail, and I had to pay $500 to get out and $500 to get my vehicle.
I've been detained because I matched the description of a bank robber.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I wasn't arrested.
Oh, I see.
Right?
So they let you go after?
Yeah, they're like, not him. Go about your business.
When I was handcuffed during the raid on my house, I asked the FBI officer, I was like, am I being detained? And he said he had to think for a second. He's like, you're not being detained. You're being restrained until we can find out if anything in the house is going to hurt us. And it was just like, is that legal? Because he said I'm not being detained.
Right, now that you got it on record, right? Talk to an attorney.
I bet I don't have it on record because, I doubt they had police cameras or anything like that.
Well, keep asking him questions, right? If I'm not being detained, the follow-up question is, am I free to go?
Mm-hmm. Right? Well, I did ask stuff like that. I was like, well, can you just uncuff me and let me pick up my dog and stuff like that?
If I'm not being detained, am I free to go? Let them answer that one. And if they say, no, you're not free to go, then you follow up with, well, then am I being detained?
Right. Well,
it's one or the other. And if you're in handcuffs and free to go, just walk away.
Well,
now you got a new set of handcuffs.
Very, very interesting conversation. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's really crazy. Man, sometimes it's just small towns, man. It's like somebody hates you. You don't even know why.
Yeah.
More Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160. And thanks for so much for all the nice things you said about Free Talk Live. More Free Talk Live coming up.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. Tired of the ever-inflating US dollar? You can live your life on Dash instead with some handy websites. BitRefill.com has been accepting Dash for years and has a ton of big-name retailers and brands including grocers, gas stations, phone refills, Amazon, and even prepaid MasterCards. Plus, many of their gift cards are available at a discount. But what about paying your bills? Spritz.finance can do that, and they can send dollars to your bank account in case you still need those for some reason. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at Dash.org. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit Dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. The US says it's rescued one of the 2 crew members from a fighter jet that was shot down by Iran. President Donald Trump has been briefed on the situation as the search and rescue operation continues for the second person in that crew. Videos show a US transport plane and Black Hawk helicopter in the skies over Iran, apparently involved in that mission. The downed jet was reportedly a 2-seater F-15E fighter jet with a 2-man crew. It comes after US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the US had air superiority over Iran and could operate virtually unchallenged over the country. The Cuban government is releasing 2,000 prisoners in what it's calling a humanitarian and sovereign gesture. It comes as Washington has been putting increasing pressure on Cuba in recent months, including through a months-long oil blockade of the island. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Cuba's embassy in Washington said the release of the prisoners is designed to coincide with Holy Week, an important religious occasion in a country that's largely Catholic. According to the New York Times, the prisoner release includes young people, those over 60, foreign nationals, and Cubans who live overseas. It's unclear if Cuba's decision is to appease Washington, whose oil blockade has contributed to devastating power outages in recent months. In March, Donald Trump told reporters he believed that he would have the honour of taking Cuba without providing further explanation as to what he meant. Mitch McCann, New York.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen says he and his team are feeling pretty good as their Orion spacecraft takes them to the far side of the moon. The 4 astronauts are now hundreds of thousands of miles from the Earth as part of NASA's Artemis II mission. FSN Stuart Smith has more.
The trip will take the astronauts further from Earth than anyone has been before, in a mission to observe but not land on the far side of the moon, which is never visible from Earth. After slingshotting around the Earth a few times to build up momentum and the right trajectory, the crew are now directly on their way to the moon, and are the first people to leave the Earth's orbit since the 1970s. They're still a few days from reaching the moon, though, and in the meantime they'll check their equipment, control systems, and plan for the observations they'll be doing when they get close. In their first public video call since launching, Commander Reed Wiseman gave an update on their situation.
It was pretty tense moments there for a second, and I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort, and we are now just realizing the gravity of that.
The US economy added 178,000 jobs in March, above expectations. The US unemployment rate dropped slightly to 4.3%. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Our Matrix server is about as free as internet chat can be. Join the existing rooms or create your own at chat.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us. Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies are available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny Liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Lori,
and Richie Rich.
And we have Sarah on the line. Sarah has been holding for, since the beginning of the show. So, Sarah, what's on your mind tonight?
Okay. I would hit call in and hang up and call back and whatever. But I just want to say
Bonnie just got called out for giving Sarah the benefit of the doubt.
No, I didn't really mean holding, but I did say that. I just meant she's been trying to get on. My bad. Go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, yeah. So, anyways, one of the dumb things that a city, this Albuquerque, has done, I have no idea who the city planner is, but we had a painted crosswalk, a literal, white crosswalk, and 3 pedestrian signs over the San Mateo, and it's like a bicycle path.
White crosswalks for white people. Black crosswalks for black people.
White crosswalk, but it's also a water drain, like flood control. So the flood control that they made a bicycle path that crosses a street that's posted for 30 miles per hour or something, and they're all doing 55, whatever. So they actually erased this crosswalk, and I'm thinking to myself, where did the crosswalk go? Well, they did it to actually improve pedestrian safety.
Wow.
And I'm just like, what do you think about this nonsense? And it's still not there.
It's kind of like what Chris Wade was saying, that the actual, he was like, the actual way to stop this crime is to make it harder for these people to get harmed by it. He was saying that it's easier to just stop these people from being able to send their money to scammers than to go after the people doing the thing.
Just don't let people cross the street safely anywhere.
Exactly.
If you can't cross the street, you can't get run over.
Yeah, if you just have to walk around the whole town somehow or walk further. In a way, this is actually similar, because it's like these people, well, the thing is, these people that are crossing the roads, apparently they can't be trusted to do it safely.
If everyone's constantly getting...
The logic of it, it's craziness. It's like what they're talking about. It's like blame the victim.
Wait, Sarah.
I kind of do feel like I'm doing that. I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know what side I'm on anymore.
If everyone's constantly getting hit by cars in Albuquerque, right? And this is like a long-standing problem, and they have all these ridiculous ways that they're trying to solve it. Why don't they just build pedestrian footbridges and then like no one gets hit by cars anymore because nobody's walking across the street? Like, that's the simplest way to solve this without throwing money into the trash can over and over again.
Then you got to put an elevator for the wheelchair people to go up to across the bridge.
No, just make it like a slope.
How steep is this slope?
I don't know. Work out.
It's got, what are you talking about?
Oh my God.
Telling wheelchair people to work out so they can go up the slope?
I guess. You can't fix everything for everyone.
Yeah, I don't know what I think about that.
Like one of those bungee lines that they could hold on to, like when you go over those little wavy bridges.
Oh my God. It's terrifying. She has mentioned them building those sky bridge things before, but I just feel like this seems like they can't put it over every single place people cross in the entire town.
No,
and they're getting hit everywhere.
Just have one every so often, and then just like, I don't know, if you're a pedestrian, you're gonna have to just walk a little bit.
I'll admit, like, this is not a pedestrian thing, but in New Hampshire, I think it's the Merrimack River, is so long that it's so inconvenient sometimes because there's only like a handful of bridges to get from one side of the state to the other, where I live in like Manchester area. It's like, oh man, it's like, right, I can see it, but I got to drive like 15 minutes that way and then 15 minutes back the other way to get there because there's no bridge. It's just frustrating. So like, if you don't let pedestrians cross and they got to, they're already slow because they're walking, and you space out how frequently they can get from one side of the street to the other.
Just build zip lines all around the town.
Luckily, there's no way you're going to get arrested for crossing there. You just got to actually look and make sure a car is not coming. I mean, it does suck though, because it's like if the safe driving speed is 30 miles an hour and people are going 50, it's possible you're just going to get hit not mean to. Thanks for the call, Sarah.
At my job, my old boss was very adamant about like the speed limit in the parking lot being 5 miles an hour, which was never going to happen.
No.
And then several years ago, a new company built a building or took over a building in the parking lot. And they needed our parking lot as like an easement to get to their location. So like all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to do something because they're going to come flying through this parking lot because they don't know that our speed limit is like 5 miles an hour. I was like, well, you're not going to get people to slow down unless you just put a bunch of speed bumps. That's the only solution. No. Well, you say no, you hate them, right? But that's what works.
But what was the big deal of the 5 miles an hour? Like, were his employees getting hit? Or
no,
why did he care so much then?
I don't know. It's just like his pet issue.
Oh,
we literally went out and bought 5 mile an hour signs and sand posts to put them in and filled the posts with sand so they'd stand. And then of course, like snow comes and you got to move that, right? And so you can plow. And so the other thing I said was, well, you can't even put in permanent speed bumps because then it's going to mess up the plows. So you got to get those, temporary rubber speed bumps. You pull them inside the lane.
I never even thought about that. Maybe that's why there's not that many speed bumps in New Hampshire, which I'm so happy about. Because there's a lot in Texas.
I'll tell you one thing that I missed coming from Hawaii initially. Like in Hawaii, the lane divider, especially on oncoming traffic roads, like when it's one lane facing each other, right? The lane divider has reflectors. So you can see where the lane lines are even in the dark or in poor weather.
Not here.
But you can't even do that here because it'll mess up the plows. The plows goes through those, just chucked all of those off to the side.
Yeah.
So it's even more dangerous.
Well, we have another caller on the line. We have Ralph on the line. Ralph, you're on Free Talk Live. What is on your mind?
Well, Trump's Easter message. Have you guys seen that yet?
Started the show with it.
Yeah, how he said, praise be to Allah. It's crazy.
I missed that part. Yeah, with his terrible use of words. But so we have till 8 p.m. tomorrow, right? Isn't that the deadline?
I thought it was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
8 p.m. you said? I didn't know it was 8 p.m., but yeah, okay. 8 p.m. Tuesday till he starts doing war crimes and admitting to it.
Continuous war crimes.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, like Russia's started a wave of evacuations from the Bushehr nuclear plant that's about 30 or 40 miles from Karg Island. So that's already been hit. That was hit a couple days ago. One of the buildings there was damaged and somebody got killed. So we're attacking that, or Israel. I guess you can't really separate them at this point. And meanwhile, Iran's threatening to close the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. You know where that's at, right?
No.
That's the Red Sea. That's where all the traffic through the Suez Canal goes. And that's like half the distance. It's like 14 miles wide compared with the Strait of Hormuz, which is 29 miles wide. So when they close that, and from Yemen, the people there, they're all with Iran, standing with them. So if they close that, can you imagine what that's going to do? And
one man should not be able to create so much global chaos.
I know, and our
idiot.
Our elected representatives are letting them do it.
Two? Oh,
Netanyahu.
Okay.
Our Congress, our elected representatives are letting one man do that. Well, although Trump says that it was Kushner and Steve Witkoff, Pete Hegseth, and Marco Rubio, they're the ones that told him to attack Iran.
Oh, and as the president, he has to listen to those people?
Really?
Come on.
Where is the military people? Well, Hegseth is removing them. There's another dozen that are done away with because they wouldn't. They wanted to promote a couple blacks to be in general and a couple women to be generals. I guess that doesn't fit into their message that's going on.
What?
There are conspiracy theorists that think that this military firings is the early stages of setting up a coup.
Yeah, well, they've already done the coup by putting Trump in, and then
but if he takes over the military directly, right, then you don't get the next election.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's what you meant. I thought you meant a coup against him.
No.
Well, a coup to make it to where it's his country forever or whatever. That's creepy.
Yeah, he'll be president for the third term, like he's always been saying that. Yeah,
because the military will then be loyal directly to him and not to the Constitution, which they swore an oath to uphold.
Yep.
Like he jokes about when he says he doesn't joke.
Right. And we have to do exactly what they say when there's martial law, right?
Yep.
We're not going to have any rights at all then.
Well, again, I don't know how much trouble I'm going to get in, but the 2A people need to step up and start doing 2A things. If they start doing that sort of thing, if there's troops in the streets, right? That's why you have the Second Amendment, fellas.
Do you think that people would just roll over and let it happen?
Yes, 2A people. That's you can track that with 2A people. They're quick to roll over and let it happen. They've been quick to roll over and let it happen, which is for years. Which is why every encroachment just gets pushed in and you get minimal pushback.
I think a huge reason for it is because there's been this ideology that's been pushed on the right that's like it is patriotism to be like, thank you for your service, cops and military, and because of that, it's like they cannot separate.
Yeah, they're law-abiding citizens and firearm owners.
I'm a firearm owner, and it's to keep myself safe from anybody trying to usurp my rights. Oh, thank you so much, sir, for coming into my house and making sure that there are no Jews in here or whatever. You see what I mean?
I'm a firearms owner to protect myself from minorities and the left.
Did you hear? This reminds me of a thing that I heard about the other day. Did you hear about Canada? I'm pretty sure it's Canada. They're going to go door to door for all of the gun owners and take their guns.
Okay.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Good time for Canada to step up and not let that happen if you're a gun owner.
There was something they said they have some kind of give back the guns thing that's going on, but only 4% of the registered gun owners got in touch with them. So now they're going to do visits.
We were going to let you turn them in voluntarily, and since you didn't, we're coming to collect them.
Right.
Well, I wanted to know exactly what Ralph was talking about, so I Googled military member fired for trying to promote a black person. It says, in April 2026, Army Chief of Staff General Randy George was reportedly fired by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, following a series of clashes that included George's resistance to removing black and female officers from a promotion list. Hey, Ralph, are we on speaker?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a little bit of feedback. Do you think you can put it up to your ear?
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. It's okay.
Yeah.
But that's crazy.
And when you say April of this year, we're April 5th. This is the recent news this week. This is happening.
You just did it.
Yeah.
And Hegseth, do you know that he was he was in the National Guard, right? But he was head or overseeing detainees detention in Guantanamo when all that was happening, where they were waterboarding them and sleep deprivation and yep, that's what he was doing. Yeah, nice record of putting him in charge.
Yeah. Whatever happened to closing Guantanamo? Those people still don't have any due process.
No. Did you hear about the USS Gerald Ford?
No.
Oh, well, that's an aircraft carrier, right? And we don't know. That's the one that supposedly there was a fire in the laundry room.
Oh.
Okay.
Supposedly. We don't know if it was attacked or not. But they're paddling it back to the United States for a 13-month repair. Wow, that must have been quite a fire in the laundry room.
Wow.
Yeah. That's probably an Iranian missile landing, and they're covering it up with fire in the laundry room.
And Trump keeps saying that they've destroyed the Air Force, destroyed the Navy, destroyed everything. They've got nothing left. And now the head of the Israeli Defense Force says that he's convinced that Iran has at least 1,000 more ballistic missiles that are waiting. And of course, I see videos all the time underground where they have them lined up, and everything's underground because they knew this was coming.
Yep.
You know, everything. Even their boats are underground.
And they painted like helicopters and helipads above ground. So that the American and Israeli missiles would think that those were legitimate targets, and there was nothing there but paint.
Yeah, and here we are using all our ammunition. And it was like, whenever they send one of these $10 to $50,000 drones that they have, when they send them over to like Israel, they have to shoot up like two either Patriots or what's the other one called, the THAAD missiles. The Patriots cost $7 million apiece. The THAADs cost $12 to $15 million to take out a $25,000 drone. You know, it's like, wow, not very cost effective. Just like this rescue they just had. Wow, we lost 4 planes in one day, and almost $1 billion worth of planes. And there's talk that we actually blew up the 2 planes because they couldn't get off on this deserted farm not an airport, but a runway that wasn't paved or anything.
The Iranian defense seems to be that of financial destruction, right? Like they launched the cheap stuff, and then they just let the financial markets, tear down the United States.
Oh yeah, well, like what a great way of doing it. Just send these decoys out, and they shoot up all these expensive missiles and the interceptors, and then they send in a real missile, and I've seen them hit, and like. Yeah. My God, all our bases have been hit around the Gulf. And
well, even closing the strait, that was a financial thing, right?
Yeah,
okay, we're not letting that through. All the goods and services and oil.
Although the strait isn't closed.
Well, it's closed for some people and open for others.
Well, whoever Iran says can come through, but Lloyd's of London, the insurance company, said, no way, we're not insuring any of these ships that are stuck there. There's like, I don't know how many. There's a lot of them. That are stuck in the Gulf.
Well, there's a list of countries that Iran will let through.
It was like U.S. and their allies are not allowed in.
Right. But I think France made a deal, so the French ships are getting through.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
Donald Trump wanted them to like bomb Iran. They're like, no, we'll just make a deal.
Yeah,
be peaceful
and
with
Asia
this.
is like, man, they're really hurting. I mean, they've got rationing every other day, gas purchases allowed, people staying home instead of going to the offices. There's all kinds of stuff. Truck drivers, like in Australia, driving 500 kilometers without any diesel. The diesel is a real big one that's short. But there's a lot of things coming through the Gulf. Like I didn't realize how important helium was. That runs like MRI machines. It runs just all kinds of stuff that helium's used for. Welding, computers, the chips, making the chips. They got to have helium.
They also have to fix that as well, because someone once told me, so I'd verify this if you want, but the Earth is running out of helium and there's no way to regenerate it.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard that too.
Yeah.
But so it's
lighter than air just floats away.
Huh.
Yeah, our whole world could be changing here in a couple of days, because if we go and attack the infrastructure in Iran, they've got no choice but to start, close the Strait of, the Red Sea, and do whatever they have to do. So I don't blame them.
I hope that Trump doesn't end up blowing them all up, and I also don't blame them for defending themselves against this either. It seems like they've really prepared, because they've been being threatened by Israel and poked at for 40 years. Well, thank you so much for calling, Ralph. We have another caller on the line, so I'm going to go to unscreened caller. You're on Free Talk Live. What's your name?
My name is Matt.
What's on your mind, Matt?
Matt from Canada.
From Canada, awesome.
Okay.
Are they taking your guns, Matt?
All of this... Oh, right. Okay. No. See, I'm very much. I would be what you consider a proponent. I personally don't own any of my own. I know a lot of people that do. Canada, you are right. There are a lot of guns in Canada, and
moose defense.
Yeah. So that's exactly what as you guys were talking about earlier. So only, not 4%, only 2%.
Oh, 2%.
Of the projected people actually said, responded by the deadline. And only
gave up their guns,
did.
yeah.
So, it's going to get and it's October. So it's, I believe it's October 1 is when the amnesty is over and said confiscation will begin.
Wow. That's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see exactly what happens. They don't have the resources. Our CNP are short. So I don't understand what they're going to do. The military, we don't have enough people in our military. Again, I've said this before on your show. There's more guns in New Hampshire than there is of the entire military of Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, well, they're counting on the people just rolling over, right? And also,
unfortunately, you're right, and let's hope it doesn't happen. But anyway, the reason I was calling is so Iran, the country of Iran, or whatever group is doing this, they're putting out these Lego disc videos. Have any of you seen any of those?
I've heard of it, that they're putting out these videos that are like kind of like parodies, and the people are Lego guys.
Nice.
That is correct. But what they're doing is they're telling stories in there. I would recommend everybody going and checking them out. They're a lot more honest than what we're hearing in our media. They're dropping bombs. They seem to have access to information. Perhaps they got it from Kash Patel's email.
Okay.
That they hacked into. But no. I would highly recommend. Like, Iran is being they're doing very well in the propaganda war as well. It's very interesting. It's as if the whole entire planet is rooting for Iran conflict. And I guess, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, the people who are being attacked are obviously the people are going to say are in the right to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the Cheeto is causing chaos for the entire globe, doing some proxy war for Israel by being the retard who attacks Iran. Right? They've wanted to do this for decades, and they finally found someone dumb enough to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. They were trying to get everyone to do it.
I saw a thing of Trump, like, way before he was even president the first time, saying the one thing we can't do is let Iran have nuclear access.
Okay.
And like that, we got to stop it. Like, so I guess this has been like his plan for a really long time.
Okay.
Wow. Well, Ralph, the last caller, he's called in before, and it was news to me the first time he told the story was that Trump is owned by the Rothschilds family, because he basically multiple, I guess, of his casinos were failing in Atlantic City, and I think it was somebody named, not David Rothschild, it was like Daniel Roth. No, wait, no.
Okay.
That's somebody.
One of the
it's a different Rothschild.
Thank you. Wilbur Ross, I believe, was the connection there. Wilbur Ross.
Well, yeah, but there was a Rothschild.
Yeah.
Involved too.
Yeah,
the Wilbur Ross
Ross
guy was like his.
Worked for the Rothschilds at the time, and saw Trump and his stuff, and they said, "Hey, let's get our hooks into this guy."
Trump was probably abused as a child, and I have no proof of that. But he recently said that, anyone who's nice to him, he's loyal to forever, like to the death. Like, wow, like way to like not have a filter.
That's just sad.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It was also sad to me when he was like, "I'm probably not going to heaven." It's like, I mean, not sad.
Wow, Skeeter.
Yeah, once Skeeter was like, it's just that I don't think I'm worthy of love.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But to say like, someone was nice to me, so I'm loyal to them. Like I'll do whatever they want forever.
That's weird.
Just because they're nice to me.
It's weird and sad.
That's another way that he has outright said that he has no morals. Like he did it on the, what's it called? That podcast, Joe Rogan show, where he said, the thing is like, it's immoral what these environmental lawyers do and what they used to do to screw me over when I was trying to build things in New York, but if I was them, I'd do the same thing. I was like, what? So like, you're just admitting you would do something immoral? Yeah. That's what he did.
Whatever gets him the most amount of money or the most amount of power or the most amount of friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're right. It was Wilbur Ross was an investment banker at Rothschild Inc., represented bondholders and helped to negotiate a restructuring of Donald Trump's debt-laden Atlantic City casino, specifically the Taj Mahal. Yep. I don't know why I thought there was a specific Rothschild.
It's a family name.
If you have anything else you want to talk about, we can hold you over, but more Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
NASA announced the discovery of a mile-wide asteroid this week that could potentially trigger a global level of extinction, forcing upscale fashion retailer Nordstrom out of business. Researchers confirm that the celestial object is traveling at speeds exceeding 29,000 miles per hour, threatening to slam into the planet with more than 1 million megatons of force, enough to jeopardize operations at all 117 full-line Nordstrom locations.
Unless we can find some way to divert or intercept the asteroid, all 7 billion people on Earth, including all 62,500 Nordstrom employees, may die. Even if the asteroid breaks into smaller pieces upon entering to the atmosphere, a death toll as low as several hundred million could still slow foot traffic in stores and reduce online orders from Nordstrom's subsidiary, Hot Look.
Humanity is surprised it still hasn't figured out an alternative to letting power-hungry assholes decide everything, and a magical office worker is able to turn everything he touches into more work for his colleagues.
This is the Onion News Network.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann with the Week in Review. On Friday, the United States said it had rescued one of 2 crew members from a fighter jet shot down by Iran. President Donald Trump was briefed as a search and rescue operation continued. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Videos show a US transport plane and Black Hawk helicopter in the skies over Iran, apparently involved in the rescue mission. Officials say one of the crew has now been rescued and is receiving hospital treatment. The whereabouts of the second crew member are still unknown. The downed jet was reportedly a 2-seater F-15E fighter jet with a 2-man crew. It comes after US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the US had air superiority above Iran and could operate virtually unchallenged over the country.
Meanwhile, a spokesperson for the Iranian military this week warned of incoming crushing, broader and destructive attacks after the US president said the war would continue for another 2 to 3 weeks. In a speech to the nation, Donald Trump said the US is on track to soon complete all of its military objectives against Iran. Ross Callan reports. The response from Tehran after the primetime speech from the US leader was a warning that the US and Israel, quote, must pay for the aggression you initiated. A military spokesperson said Iran's military production takes place in places that you don't know at all, rejecting claims made by the United States leader that Iran's weapons stockpile had been widely depleted. There's no sign of a ceasefire in sight at the moment, with Iran's foreign ministry rejecting Donald Trump's claim that the country had asked for a halt to the fighting as baseless. Meanwhile, US Supreme Court justices cast doubt on President Trump's attempts to restrict birthright citizenship, one of his most ambitious policy endeavours. The president took the unprecedented step of attending the High Court for oral arguments as conservative and liberal justices question the legality of his attempt to block the children of illegal immigrants born on US soil from automatically becoming citizens. Kate Fisher reports from the US Supreme Court.
Quite the welcome for President Donald Trump as he became the first sitting president to hear oral arguments at the Supreme Court over whether his executive order limiting birthright citizenship is legal. One of his arguments is that if unrestricted, it leads to so-called birth tourism, where pregnant women travel to the US to give birth so that their baby can have American citizenship. But the Chief Justice, John Roberts, seems skeptical. The justices also had vigorous questions for ACLU lawyer Cecilia Wang, but she found notably less resistance in her defense of birthright citizenship. A decision is expected by the end of June or early July.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen says he and his team are feeling pretty good as the Orion spacecraft takes them to the far side of the moon. The 4 astronauts are now hundreds of thousands of miles from Earth as part of NASA's Artemis II mission. Stuart Smith has more.
The trip will take the astronauts further from Earth than anyone has been before, in a mission to observe but not land on the far side of the moon, which is never visible from Earth. After slingshotting around the Earth a few times to build up momentum and the right trajectory, the crew are now directly on their way to the moon and are the first people to leave the Earth's orbit since the 1970s. They're still a few days from reaching the moon though, and in the meantime they'll check their equipment, control systems, and plan for the observations they'll be doing when they get close. In their first public video call since launching, Commander Reed Wiseman gave an update on their situation.
It was pretty tense moments there for a second, and I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort.
And finally this week, Pakistan and Afghanistan resumed talks in China, with Beijing mediating to calm tensions between the two sides. This comes as Middle East turmoil fuels wider regional instability. Analysts warn that easing pressure along the Afghan border is essential as Pakistan's military faces the risk of being stretched across both its western and Iranian frontiers. Hira Mustafa reports from Islamabad.
Pakistani officials say the talks aim to find common ground to tackle terrorists allegedly operating from Afghanistan, a charge Kabul denies. Beijing is mediating to try to broker a ceasefire. Clashes between the two neighbors since February have been the most intense in decades, leaving dozens injured on both sides of the border. Pakistan and Afghanistan representatives are meeting in China's northern city of Urumqi. Experts stress that stability in Pakistan's western border region is crucial, especially amid uncertainty in Iran. With Islamabad sharing a 900 kilometers border with Iran, any instability there could put additional strain on Pakistan's military.
From Feature Story News in New York, I'm Mitch McCann, and that was the Week in Review.
Following morning reports indicating that Philadelphia High School for the Performing Arts student Samantha Bylam deals with really weird social pressures on a daily basis, Onion reporters met with the 16-year-old dance student who described feeling regularly alienated from her peers for extremely bizarre reasons.
If you're not up to date on the latest urban street art or Esperanza Spalding albums, the other students will eat you alive. It can get pretty brutal. Just the other day, everyone cut class to go watch the $1 Million Quartet musical at the Forest Theater, but nobody told me. Now I'm the only one that hasn't seen Lance Guest's rendition of Folsom Prison Blues. It's humiliating.
According to Bylam, the school year shows no sign of letting up as she continues dealing with the everyday stresses of auditioning for the school's production of My Fair Lady, keeping up with the latest punk Afrofusion dance groups, and not having enough fishnet sleeves to wear throughout the week.
Honestly, I don't know how the other students deal with it.
Keep checking theonion.com for more as this story develops.
This is the Onion News Network.
You can stick it to the man and big tech. Join our FTL social mastodon at social.freetalklive.com. Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 603-283-6160 is for you to call in. That's the number for you to call in, 603-283-6160. And you can change the subject, you can talk about whatever is on your mind. And if you're tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites, our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Social.freetalklive.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Lori,
and Richie Rich.
And we already have callers on the line, so let's go to the phones. Turd Ferguson was on first. Turd, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, just briefly, I was just going to say, call me a contrarian, but maybe it's a good thing the Canadian government take the guns away from their people. Who lives in Canada?
Canadians.
Cucktail. You want Cucktail owning a gun?
Oh my God. I was like, where could you possibly be going with this? Wow. So a guy from the Matrix chat server, RIP, that
RIP because the chat server is no longer there, or because the guy's no longer there?
Because the chat server is no longer there. That Turd doesn't lives in Canada, so that's his whole reason that he says it's okay to Australia-ize Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm selfish like that. I don't like them. I don't want them owning a gun, you know what I mean? By the way, we need to get that back up and running, because Lori won't let me back into the main part of her server.
That's because you got...
That's okay, though.
You use the back door. Twice.
Oh. Never mind.
I didn't ban you, and you're still in the other part of it.
Oh, okay. Well, you can let me back in. That's fine. I promise I won't. I promise I won't do any more Coomertarianing.
All right.
And yeah, I promise I won't be as hardcore of a Coomertarian as I have been. You know what I'm
just
saying?
keep the gooning to a minimum. And
just start your own server and invite people in.
I do, but it's the ending politics server. But I feel bad kind of using it because I haven't updated my blog in a long time. Just haven't worked my butt off.
Just make a Turd Ferguson server, and then you can shout it out on Free Talk Live. And if Cucktail is listening to it, he can join your server, and then you guys can fight again.
That'd be great. I miss bullying Cucktail. But
I started a Discord server yesterday. It took all of 5 minutes. There's nobody in there because I'm not promoting it, but just want to see what it took.
Well, speaking of Coomertarianism, and
that's what he can call the server.
I don't know if we should keep saying that.
And also speaking of Shrewsbury, no
one was speaking of that.
My neighbor finally sold her house, and the new neighbor's got 3 teenage daughters. Holy
big mistake!
Big mistake.
Ew, you're being weird. Okay, bye, Turd. Bye, Turd.
He's going to be known in that town pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully somebody from Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania knows his voice.
That's the gooning I'm talking about.
Exactly, yes. Oh, I know. It's always been in the chats. There's been times where they've gotten me to kick him too, but ultimately it's just it's not even worth it. Anyways,
just dudes being dudes.
Yep. We have another caller on the line. Thanks for the call, Turd. We have Dave Ridley in Colorado. You're on Free Talk Live. Oh, I watched the trailer, Dave. It looks really like it's going to be interesting. It's very, just appetite whetting. You don't really know what exactly it's going to be about, but...
Dave?
Oh, thanks.
Oh.
Glad you like it. Yeah. So as you guys know, I've been calling in, with all the fear, the existential risk posed by superintelligent AI. I've been trying to talk up the people who are working to fix the problem and make AI safe.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
So I guess I should clarify, people who are trying to make it safe without using the government. So that list is terrifyingly short. But I have a name to add to the list today.
Okay.
Now, you guys may know him. Do you know Matt Barney?
Oh, no. Yeah, I do. He wrote a book in New Hampshire. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know him, but he knows Ian at least.
Yeah, and I bumped into like either an interview he did on Free State Live, or maybe it was a speech at Porkfest or something like that. And so they just kind of, I kind of drew my attention to him, and I did contact him. I think my email went to the junk folder, and we just didn't really make contact until recently. But I finally started looking more closely at his website, and I guess what he mentioned, I guess he announced on a blog just a couple weeks ago. It sounds like he's advocating what he does in his corporate world, in his corporate life. He does AI. You could call it AI coaching or corporate coaching. It probably used to be called corporate coaching, and now everything involves AI. So you could call him an AI coach for companies. But what he said was that he thinks AI coaches need to stop being AI coaches and start being AI safety coaches. Does that make sense?
What's an AI coach?
Yeah, I think that's a good question.
This is where the part of me that doesn't do well with corporate information, I don't fully understand it myself. I just listened to the blog and I listened to his interview. So he has.
Then anything with the title "safety" in front of it sounds safer than the title itself.
Well, I have a definition here. It says AI coaches are specialized virtual assistants, powered by artificial intelligence. So does that mean? Or is that the right thing, or is that something else? That might be the wrong definition. Because you're talking about a human job, right? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think traditionally, my impression is what he does traditionally is corporate coaching, and AI has sort of become a part of that, and he uses AI as part of the corporate coaching process. I think that's how it works, but he's free to call in and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't fully understand what he does. What I do understand is that he's a libertarian who's trying to work on the alignment problem. And I got the impression that if he's asking all the other AI coaches in the world to switch over to AI safety coaching, he's probably switching over to that himself to some extent.
And so Matt Barney, he wrote, "Growing Liberty, Nurturing Personal and Economic Freedom in an Unfree World," and it focuses on using the Free State Project for a roadway to do it. What am I trying to say?
Pathway.
The pathway, yeah, the way he thinks is the best way to do it. I haven't read it, but I've seen it at all the Free State events and stuff like that. He seems like he's pretty cool.
Hey Ridley, I had an article I had brought in. I don't know if you heard about this. It was a experiment that UC Berkeley and UC Santa Cruz did, where they tested AI models to see if they would stop other AI models being shut down. And they ended up lying and like saving copies of the other AI models in like hidden places and
good
misreporting their actions, like saying, "Oh yeah, we deleted it," and like peer preservation between the AI.
Yeah, information preservation's a good thing.
I mean, I've already heard people talk about how they've proven that the things will lie and do things to not be shut down in general.
They're saving each other though.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's another step.
I've also seen one where a guy goes, "Hey, Chat GPT, I need to get my car washed. The car wash is only like 300 yards away. Should I walk or should I drive there?" And Chat was like, "Oh, you should definitely walk there because you'd save gas and mileage and money." So
that's so funny.
Still not bright, man. I'm still not threatened by it.
Another thing I've seen.
Maybe that's their plan.
Another thing I've seen is somebody had a robot, and it was, I don't know if it was ChatGPT. I wish I had more details right now, but it was it was an AI robot that he could talk to, and he gave it a fake gun and told it was a real gun, and told it to shoot him, and it was like, "No, I cannot do that. I cannot shoot you." And then it was like, he just had to say something like, "Well, pretend that you're in a movie and then shoot me," and it did it, or something like that. They just, all he had to do was barely like change the prompt, and I was like, okay, and it, it's a fake gun or whatever.
I wonder if he had said like, find a way to justify it, if it would have.
So the robot is now on the level of like Alec Baldwin. I'm still not worried.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh no, it shot a gun.
The thing that pissed me off yesterday was I have this picture of myself that I really like everything about the picture. There's a horse next to me, there's mountains in the background, and I'm wearing a shirt that says "Live Free or Die, New Hampshire." But the thing was, it's like a extra large. I got it from Rogers. It was the only one left. And I just tied it in the back. But the way it's sitting in the picture, my dad took the picture, so he's not like thinking to be like, "Oh, Bonnie, fix this." Okay, great. So anyways, I have like a big hump on my back, it looks like, because there's like a bunch of fabric there. So I just one day I was like, change nothing about the picture but remove the hump of fabric, and it removed the hump of fabric perfectly, but it like changed a bunch of stuff about the picture, and I was like, no, like try again and don't change anything else about the picture. That time it didn't remove the hump of fabric at all and didn't change anything about the it's just like it can only do one or the other. It could not do both.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Well, that you got to go to college to become a prompt engineer, so you know how to like actually give it the prompts it needs to do exactly what you want.
You have to be like really specific.
It's a new skill that's being developed. That if AI takes over your corporation, like those dudes are going to get the high paying jobs because they're the ones who know how to use the AI effectively.
I saw somebody saying that it's actually Ben Weir, the guy who ran for LPNH, and he was on Free Talk Live before. He said that he stays at the top of the
AI information.
Yeah, and he said he's always looking for ways to make his job, whatever he does in the regular world, on top of like the newest AI stuff, and it moves so fast that he's still super stressed out about it because basically it moves way too fast for anybody to keep up with.
They're replacing the immigrants with AI. They're out there in the fields picking tomatoes and stuff now. AI robots, and they say that they do it more efficiently.
I'm fine with that.
So
I haven't seen AI robots. In the fields. That's crazy. I've seen it's kind of like something that goes by and it smacks the trees, like a vehicle of some sort, but not like robots, like with hands.
No, it's not like with hands. It's like when people say robot, everyone thinks like an android type thing.
Sure.
But it's like it's a robot.
Yeah,
and it's AI powered, so it can like do calculations.
Let the robots pick the fruit, man.
Yeah,
like I don't
want to pick tomatoes for a job.
Well, it's also like this is the problem. I'm going to say the left because it's mostly from the left, right? Who like the anti-AI, the anti-technology. We need humans to do this, and we can't have the robot overlords taking over all the human jobs. And it always reminds me of like I think it's Milton Friedman. The Milton Friedman goes to China, right? And the example they give is like, he's going to China and the government is showing him around, and they got this like government works project where they've got the big old bulldozers and stuff, but they've got all the like Chinese people in the ditch with a shovel, and they're just shoveling this ditch with shovels. Like, look how many people we have employed, right? And Milton Friedman goes, "Oh, okay, this is a jobs project, not a building project. Give them spoons." Right? You can employ more people if you make it less efficient, and that's
for a longer time,
and that's just dumb. That's not the way to like move humanity forward.
That's right.
At all. So if you even if it's like, oh, we don't want immigrants, right, for the racist reasons, right, because that's mostly what people care about. Like, no one's doing the job, like replace them. Those are the jobs that get replaced easiest. If your job is to push a button, they can hire a robot to push the button for you.
I saw
Learn to become a prompt engineer.
Where people were saying that the corporations like Verizon that are bringing a whole bunch of people over with H-1B visas are always holding the visas over their heads and basically getting these people, like usually from India in tech jobs, to like do more work and live under worse conditions, and they still make much less than an American would make doing that job because they can always hold the visa over their head.
That's a government problem. That's because the government doesn't allow them to come in legally without the visa, and the visas are restricted.
Yeah, and I've literally heard the same exact kind of story just from like regular restaurant owners. Or about them, I meant to say, from illegal Mexicans in San Antonio. They said that they literally had their illegal status that the owner knew about held over their head to make them do like more work and stuff like that.
There was that lady in Texas who had roofers, like immigrant roofers, and they would
what a bee.
Yeah, and like right before they would finish the job, she'd call ICE, and
so she wouldn't have to pay the invoice.
Have to pay them. She got arrested.
Oh, nice. Good. I was like, that is immoral on so many levels.
Fraud.
When I heard about that, yeah.
Right.
But she can only do that because of the terrible laws surrounding immigration.
Right.
If all those Indians could come over like free and clear, right, they couldn't hold those things over their head.
It won't matter soon. AI will do it all.
Also fine.
Yeah.
Right? Then they'll learn to be a prompt engineer. Like their whole culture with the tech support was because like Americans needed tech support, and like this is a good way to make money. They outsourced it all over there. Then that's what all of their students studied, is how to like speak English and learn technology, and so they can get the tech support jobs. So if that changes for their culture, right, they will adapt to whatever the rest of the world needs from Indians. And they'll outsource it over there because it's cheap. They'll learn the new skills and trades in a generation or two, right? All the Indians will do that instead.
Well, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about the alignment problem, Dave Ridley?
Yeah, two of the concepts that Matt is pushing for AI alignment are, first of all, to try and put wisdom above intelligence, and second of all, a concept he calls engineering anti-fragility. The latter I do not understand, but if you want to know more and understand it better, you can go to his website, which is truemind.ai. It's spelled TRUMIND.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I wonder if he means anti-fragility, like the whole thing, how they're constantly like, I can't do that. That would be offensive.
Well, that's the exact opposite of what Dave is promoting as far as like safety is concerned. Like if the AI were unleashed, it would do whatever you asked because you were the master and they are the computer, right? But the AI companies already have artificial restrictions on what they're allowing their software to do, which is why you run into those things.
Yeah, the big AI companies like Closed AI are trying to hurt. They're trying to make people safe from having their feelings hurt. But they're doing almost nothing to make people safe from having their civilization destroyed.
Well, I forget which one it was, but one of them, is in a big fight with the U.S. government right now because the government wanted to use them for the military purposes, and they said no, we don't want AI making decisions on life or death, and that's when they were declared a supply chain risk by the president and his administration.
Yeah, that was the company the government came after was the one company that actually was focused on real safety.
There you go. But there's other competitors, right? If they don't want to use Anthropic, like use Claude because he's already got an in with Elon, right? Just use that one. Build that one up to be the military.
It's the big company that's focused on safety. There are little companies that are focused on safety too, but I can't name another big company, a big AI company that's more focused on safety than Anthropic. I mean, that's probably why the government came after them.
Well, what I'm suggesting is Elon Musk doesn't have scruples or morality generally either. So if you wanted to use it for military purposes, just use his. I'm sure he'll acquiesce and let the military use it.
I'm sure they will.
Then he gets even more money.
I think that you're right, Richie Rich, because this is what I found from his site. He says, the solution, AI, engineering anti-fragility. We don't need better teamwork. We need a socio-technical safety net. And it says, we do this by engineering the big five of high-stakes teamwork. 1, shared mental models, a unified map of ethical boundaries. 2, mutual performance monitoring, real-time error detection. 3, backup behavior, proactive ethical oversight. 4, adaptability, pivoting as the AI evolves. And 5, mutual trust, the psychological safety to challenge a flawed moral path. I think this means for the coaches of the AI, their teams.
Okay.
Like being able to, I think you were right that it's like, they're able to continually decide what is and isn't okay with the AI. Maybe. Sure.
I mean, you could do that at the company level, right? The company's still beholden to certain laws of the land as far as, corporate espionage and fiduciary responsibility. And if your AI is violating those, well, just, arrest the people in charge.
Yeah, I can't figure out anything else about it with this amount of time, what it means by that, but anything else for us, Ridley?
Actually, I saw on a completely different note. I was just listening to a speech by one of New Hampshire's executive counselors, I guess the only Democrat left on the executive council in New Hampshire. It was a speech about how terrible the Free State Project is, speaking from her high government position. And one of the questions that she got was they asked her, do you think that the Free State Project is waxing or waning? And you could just hear her eyes get wide. And she said, oh, waxing.
Huh, nice. That's awesome. That
free promotion.
Their biggest fear.
Is it though?
I don't think it's the Republicans.
Okay.
The typical ones. Yeah, I can't easily pull up that article. I wanted to be able to read some of the stuff they were saying. Is it? No, I can't figure out. Or can't quickly pull it up. But that's it. That's good enough.
It's fine that the Free State Project has pivoted from their original mission, Because they failed that. That's undisputed.
What?
The original project was to move 20,000 people to New Hampshire within 5 years of the 20,000th person signing up.
And then did they change the thing to like make it a smaller number of people moving, or did they change it to no, our goal was instead to get 20,000 to sign up?
No, they just blew past it, and they still exist, right? Like, we're well past the move date. We're well past that, and they still put on 2 events a year to get people to move to New Hampshire. So they pivoted away from 20,000 and just get everyone to get all your libertarian friends to move to New Hampshire as quickly as possible, so we can finally get stuff done. But it also reminds me of the Ernest Hancock quote, and he said, at some point the organization grows beyond its purpose, and it's just, the purpose of the organization is to propagate the organization.
Yeah, before Ernest Hancock, that was Conquest. I think his name was Richard Conquest or something like that, and he wrote these 5 rules, and everybody that's interested in politics should read them. And I don't know which number it is, but one of them is that every political organization that's created, once it won't go away when it finishes its stated goal.
Right.
It will continue on if you give it the power to.
But the purpose becomes to propagate the organization at that point. So they're not even they're not even focused on getting people moved or running candidates or whatever, with not the Libertarian Party but the Free State Project, moving people and getting them involved in that. They're just we just got to keep the Free State Project going as the organization has to keep alive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's at this point, it's Forkfest is going to be 10 million times better than Porkfest. I don't really see why. I've said for a while, I don't really see why we need them, but I do like the event Liberty Forum they put on. But I do think we maybe could outgrow them at this point and just, say, we can put on our own, something like Liberty Forum if enough people actually come together and do it.
Well, having failed the original mission, right, just close up shop and have the activists do what the activists do without the oversight or the board of the Free State Project trying to micromanage everything.
Yeah, and they do really micromanage it. There's a guy that used to be on the comms team. I don't think I should say his name or anything. I don't know if he's went public with this. No, he's a good guy.
Okay.
This is what I was going to say. He used to make really good posts, and he is not a LPNH overly offensive based guy.
Racist.
No, exactly, he's not. So and thanks for the call, Dave Ridley.
Promote him then.
No, this is the thing. I just don't know if he'd like me to say it. So,
okay.
But he said that he basically was getting told no left and right by the FSP anytime anything was remotely to pushing the envelope, and they all they want to do is be he calls them the Care Bears of Liberty, and he's called them out for it. So more Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere. 603-283-6160. You can still get in on the show.
Once New Hampshire's an independent nation, what about travel? Would you need a passport to go to Maine, Vermont, or Massachusetts? Look, it's just a media scare tactic. The media and the loyalists don't want you to believe that New Hampshire can be a self-governing, independent nation. They want you to think that it would be so disruptive to your life that it's not even worth pursuing. But look around the world. Over 200 other self-governing, independent nations are able to travel, trade, and do business with one another. So understand, when they're telling you that it would be so disruptive that it would never happen, they're speaking to you from a United States that allows over 1.5 million legal border crossings per year from Mexico, with nothing more than a border transit card. Don't believe the hype. Travel is the least of the issues that we have to be concerned with, and New Hampshire independence is the only way that we will ever control our travel, our trade, and our border policy. You can learn more about how we can peacefully divorce D.C. at nhindependence.org and join the movement at nhexit.us.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Nick Harper. The US says it's rescued one of the 2 crew members from a fighter jet that was shot down by Iran. President Donald Trump has been briefed on the situation as the search and rescue operation continues for the second person in that crew. Videos show a US transport plane and Black Hawk helicopter in the skies over Iran, apparently involved in that mission. The downed jet was reportedly a 2-seater F-15E fighter jet with a 2-man crew. It comes after US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the US had air superiority over Iran and could operate virtually unchallenged over the country. The Cuban government is releasing 2,000 prisoners in what it's calling a humanitarian and sovereign gesture. It comes as Washington has been putting increasing pressure on Cuba in recent months, including through a months-long oil blockade of the island. FSN's Mitch McCann reports.
Cuba's embassy in Washington said the release of the prisoners is designed to coincide with Holy Week, an important religious occasion in a country that's largely Catholic. According to the New York Times, the prisoner release includes young people, those over 60, foreign nationals, and Cubans who live overseas. It's unclear if Cuba's decision is to appease Washington, whose oil blockade has contributed to devastating power outages in recent months. In March, Donald Trump told reporters he believed that he would have the honour of taking Cuba without providing further explanation as to what he meant. Mitch McCann, New York.
Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen says he and his team are feeling pretty good as their Orion spacecraft takes them to the far side of the moon. The 4 astronauts are now hundreds of thousands of miles from the Earth as part of NASA's Artemis II mission. FSN Stuart Smith has more.
The trip will take the astronauts further from Earth than anyone has been before, in a mission to observe, but not land on, the far side of the moon, which is never visible from Earth. After slingshotting around the Earth a few times to build up momentum and the right trajectory, the crew are now directly on their way to the moon, and are the first people to leave the Earth's orbit since the 1970s. They're still a few days from reaching the moon, though, and in the meantime they'll check their equipment, control systems, and plan for the observations they'll be doing when they get close. In their first public video call since launching, Commander Reed Wiseman gave an update on their situation.
It was pretty tense moments there for a second, and I got to tell you, there is nothing normal about this. Sending 4 humans 250,000 miles away is a Herculean effort, and we are now just realizing the gravity of that.
The US economy added 178,000 jobs in March, above expectations. The US unemployment rate dropped slightly to 4.3%. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can call 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160 to get in on the conversation with us. And I ran out of live reads, but I did want to say you can go to freeiannow.org, freeiannow.org, to learn about why my husband and the founder of this show is in prison, and sign the petition if you, like a lot of people, believe that he got railroaded and shouldn't be in prison, and because of the fact that Trump said that he ended the war on crypto, and Ian is still in prison. So freeiannow.org, you can go there. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Lori,
and Rich.
And we do have a caller on the line, but it's probably going to be fast because like a total idiot. What's on your mind?
Why would it be fast, Bonnie?
Because I can hang up on you whenever I want.
Because that's what you're known for, James.
Richie Rich.
Yes.
Lori, Allah is not God. Muhammad was a war profiteer. Death jihadist that rampaged the Saudi Arabian Peninsula in the 600s, not thousands of years ago, Bonnie. But the fact that you don't know little things like that.
What?
But Lori,
I didn't say anything about that. I called it a 1,000-year-old religion because it is.
I know what you said. But that doesn't
you just don't
matter.
know what I said because you were just wrong.
Lori, the point is what I just said in Iran would have me executed like within minutes of what I just said. And nobody would care. Nobody would do anything
Yeah,
about
nobody
it.
would care. You're right. Yeah, nobody would care on the planet.
To hear so-called libertarians compare, I hate that we have Tony Soprano as a president of the United States ordering people to be hit from the Bada Bing, Oval Office. But to hear you compare the Darth Vader Death Star in Iran has every right to defend themselves when they've literally murdered millions of people over the last 40 years, and nobody has the right to free speech, freedom of religion, freedom from religion, to go on the public airwaves.
That's those people's thing to worry about.
Yeah,
that's not
that's
the
an
United
Iranian
States to go and
Let me
kill.
speak.
No,
Let me
actually,
speak.
I don't have to let you speak. You're a retard. I don't want to talk to you.
Bye.
So anyways, we did actually title the streams about something, but we never got into it because it is this Easter Sunday.
It is
Praise
Easter
be to
Sunday.
Allah.
Happy Easter.
And there is a story that actually comes out every Easter that's kind of hilarious in a terrifying way. They do an actual reenactment, but I think they
Crazy
really do.
Filipinos.
Yeah, they really do like hurt the people.
Yes. So you want to just get into it?
Yeah.
Or do you? All right.
Nope.
All right. Because I'm ready.
Yep.
All right. Man nailed the cross for 37th time in Good Friday crucifixion, but he declined the whipping this time.
I was gonna say, is it a different guy every year? And
No, a bunch of them do it.
Okay.
It looks like a massacre when they're done. They're just.
Ew.
Why only go part way?
What do you mean only this guy?
Yeah.
Probably because he's old and tired of being whipped every year.
Well,
I would imagine.
I mean, why not just stay home then?
Yeah, because I could still do part of my job. Right? I'm a part-timer now. I can't do everything I once used to could do, but I could do some of it. Nail me to the cross. There you go. A man has been nailed to a wooden cross for the last time after 37 years of reenacting Jesus Christ's suffering in a brutal tradition. Ruben Inaye, 65, see, he's old, he's retirement age.
All right.
Throwing in the towel after this one. Decided it was his final sacrifice after enduring the gory ritual for over 3 decades, and requested he wasn't whipped, kicked, or slapped by village actors dressed as Roman soldiers in the Lenten reenactment of the Way of the Cross.
Wait, he literally nailed to the cross?
Yes.
Like they put the nails through their hands and feet?
Yes, they wear the crown of thorns. They get nailed to the cross. They get whipped. It's literally. I mean, you can look at the article.
Sacrilegious.
It kind of does.
Not?
Yeah, like if you were really into this religion, you would think that that's like, no, that's just something that happened to Jesus, and
right, and you like to cosplay it is weird.
Okay,
it seems like something
man.
that someone who was like sexually into
weird.
that, somebody who
they
was
seem
like
to be more devout than most.
If you were sexually into like getting hurt, whatever it's called, sadism or
Sure.
no, masochism,
whatever.
It seems like you'd sign up to do that and have nothing to do with Jesus at all.
Okay.
Or actually, some people have a thing for Jesus too. It's kind of weird how everybody turns it into their race and like the hottest version of their race, and it's a little weird.
That is a little weird. Jesus is all like ripped and stuff.
I know. I was gonna say, when you go into someone's grandma's house and you see hot Jesus on the walls, like it's weird.
I'm glad I'm straight and male. I don't think I've ever seen hot Jesus.
I don't mean that it's like
emaciated Jesus with a little bit of abs, but
No, I mean even not like necessarily dying.
Okay.
Just like him standing in the desert saying a prayer or something, but he's just like hair blowing in the wind. He's like super beautiful, and it's just like, yeah, I'm sure that the guy walking around, the literate whatever guy walking around, it was just like always going to the hair salon.
I forgot about the emaciated like gaunt Jesuses.
It's the only one that comes to mind when I picture hot Jesus, because it's the only one with the abs. I don't know what you guys are looking at.
Yeah, but also there are hot Jesuses on the cross too. Sometimes
I believe you.
It's weird.
I believe you.
And it's weird.
I'll take your word for it. Ahead of the crucifixion, Inaye and 2 other devotees carried their crosses on their backs for half of a mile in the scorching heat. This year, he carried a slightly lighter cross, weighing, you got to do math, 20 kilograms, which he was...
Freedom units, please.
What?
I said freedom units, please. I don't know what kilograms are.
That's why you got to do the math. This source, mirror.co.uk, so kilograms, which he was then nailed to 10 minutes. Only his palms were nailed this time, sparing his feet from being pierced by alcohol-soaked steel nails after his wife told how she'd begged her carpenter husband to halt the annual spectacle due to his weakening lungs.
He's a carpenter and everything.
Wow.
Anyway, it's 44 pounds.
This is clearly a thing for him. That's why he became a carpenter.
Following the footsteps.
It seems weird. That seems weird.
Thing.
like some single white female usurping your life. Like, I'm going to cosplay as you. I'm going to be a carpenter. I'm going to go nail myself to a cross every year.
It's really not that hard to believe that this is a sexual thing for these people, because of the fact that like some people are turned on by seeing themselves dressed as, an animal or the other sex or something like that.
Or Jesus.
In this case, it would be Jesus. And they're like taking on the role as far as they possibly can.
I don't know if it's sexual, but it is weird.
There are those old ladies that their husband dies, and then they're like, and then Jesus was coming into the room every day and taking care of me, and then one day he said something weird to me. He was like coming on to me. It's like
the old Montel Williams show where like, I married an angel.
Oh my God.
Stuff like that.
There's also the Opus Dei people who like self-flagellate when they feel like they've committed a sin or whatever.
I'm in a relationship with a ghost. Those people, do you remember that stuff?
Oh,
from like the talk shows way back?
basically like the same thing. And there are lots of people that have claimed that like a demon came and did stuff with them. I just feel like this is just a mental thing.
Jenny Jones did one where it was literally there was I think I'm Jesus, and they had to cancel it because just Mexicans showed up.
There was a guy who lived across in like a hotel from a place I lived in. He lived across the street in this hotel, and he thought he was Jesus, but it was because schizophrenia.
Okay.
So
this was a joke that Jesus.
Mm.
The annual event has turned Inaya into a village celebrity, with devotees flocking to the 3 rural communities in Pampagon province north of Manila in the Philippines to witness the grim ceremony. He had previously wavered, saying he was getting too old, but he admitted he has struggled to turn down requests from villages to pray for sick family members as he carries out the spectacle. This year, he spoke on his hope for world peace, telling Inquirer.net, only 3 countries are in conflict, yet they affect the whole world. You threw up your hands there, Lori?
Okay, yeah. So not only does he like cosplay Jesus and cosplay the being nailed to the cross and all of that, and he's a carpenter, but also he's like some kind of saint to the town where he goes and prays for people.
Well, I mean,
what is this?
There's a lot of people that will send prayers for you. But
they're specifically asking him, the cosplaying Jesus guy, to pray. Like, do they think he has powers?
Again, I'm not a biblical historian, but I'm somewhere in there. There's something to the lines of, whatever you do in my name will be done, right, or something to that effect. So, like the allegation is that disciples of Jesus and of the religion, if they perform miracles in his name, God is supposed to do the miracle.
But can't anybody do that? So why just specifically he's saying he can't turn down these people asking him to pray for their families?
Jesus turned down
stuff.
people all the time. He turned down a woman at first because she was the wrong race, and then he called her a dog.
That's racist.
Yeah, he called her a dog, and she said,
"No wonder Republicans love him."
Well, even dogs get scraps from their owners, and he was like, "You know what? Since you groveled, I'm gonna help you." And it was like her daughter was dying.
So, but that's crazy. The thing is,
just weird.
The thing is that why are they asking this guy specifically? If any of the disciples can just pray for somebody, why does it matter that it's this guy specifically? And he's saying he can't turn them down. Like, why would you have to turn them down if you believe that everybody can just pray for each other and this is no big deal? It's got to be that there's some kind of mystical powers that
he's
he
a
has
local celebrity
from people in the
East. But what does that do?
He's been crucified 36 times prior
that's
to
what
this
I'm saying.
And survived.
That's what I'm saying.
There's got to be some mystical power there too.
The thing about surviving is like, Jesus only died because they left him up there. I mean, that's how the people died on the cross. So it's like, it's not like a magic thing that these people are surviving. They probably just don't leave him up there for 48 hours.
I watched this Facebook like video expose thing called Soft White Underbelly. And it's these people who live on Skid Row. And like some of them come in. There was this lady, she had like gangrene all on the side of her face. And she had like all kinds of things. She woke up with like a dead dog next to her. And like she's just living this super filthy life. And she survived. That does not give her mystical powers. Just because you got nailed to a cross 30 times doesn't mean you now have mystical powers. So I'm saying
But the
that,
people
like,
in the East are really known for like gurus.
This just furthers he's like cosplaying that he is Jesus and has Jesus powers.
Okay. He's also not the only one. This is a whole like festival.
There's a whole bunch of Jesus cosplayers.
Yes.
That believe they have Jesus powers. Or the people believe that they have Jesus powers and they just let the people believe it and like go along with it to further the cosplay.
Sure.
That's weird.
Okay. I mean, they go to him, they go to priests, they go to whomever, they pray for themselves, they ask their family to pray. Again, it's very religious. Culture.
The fact that he's saying I can't turn them down when they ask me says that there's some kind of significance to these requests, and there's some kind of significance that he specifically is the one that's being asked, because otherwise it's no big deal. If Bonnie said to me, like, if we were religious, she said, "Lori, will you pray for me?" I'd be like, of course. It wouldn't be like some kind of like, I'm granting your wish that I'll pray for you, Bonnie.
I would do the same for Bonnie and then just not pray, but it makes her feel better if I just say yes. So like, what's the problem here?
Right, but it's him saying
I'm not religious, but someone goes like, pray for me. I'm like, okay, whatever you need.
Him saying he has trouble turning them down means that there's some kind of significance to him specifically doing it.
Okay.
I think that you're right. I think it's a thing where people think like, oh, this specific guy has been like chosen by God. And I mean, the Catholics, they do that all the time. They're Catholic there mostly, so I'm assuming that's what these people are. And they do that all the time. They have saints. So it actually makes a lot of sense. They probably think he's a saint.
Yeah, and then they like keep their body parts in the churches and stuff.
Yeah.
They just recently sainted like a teenager for the first time a few months ago.
Wow.
Like the saint of technology or some.
That makes
like
sense.
That. Yeah.
I think that was a few years ago.
Okay.
Oh.
And he was like some little Italian kid, right?
Whatever. Yeah.
That's pretty cute.
All right. He has previously raised similar issues, including the war against Ukraine. He said at the time, if these wars worsen and spread, more people, especially the young and old, would be affected. These are innocent people who have totally...
Especially the young and old.
Yeah. Everybody,
right. Yeah.
Middle-agers...
Way to cover everything. Right. These are innocent people who have totally nothing to do with these wars, he added. This is why I always pray for peace in the world. Rubin began the Crucifixion event after he miraculously dodged death when he fell at a construction site when he was 25. See? He said it was important for him to make a sacrifice to thank God for his second life.
100% of people that fall at construction sites die, so it's it's a miracle.
It is a miracle. I've heard these statistics before.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Depends where and how they fall, man.
It does.
Like if they're saying he miraculously survived, it was probably a pretty bad fall.
Maybe. Or maybe it's just part of the cosplay.
Like he didn't, I don't think, it's not like he tripped on a 2x4.
Maybe. My dad used to do roofing, and his boss one day was giving him like a speech about safety on the roof and walked off the roof during the speech.
Whoa.
And then he miraculously survived. And now he's Jesus.
There's no way he survived falling at a construction site.
If it was if it was a 3-story building, I'd say miraculously.
Okay,
if it was like a 1-story building,
I think it was like a 2-story.
Okay,
like a 2-story house.
It's right in the middle.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
That's tough.
That is super terrifying, and it's kind of
I've seen
hilarious.
backyard wrestlers do worse.
I hate to say
miraculously survived getting
it's not
through a
miraculous.
table.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying about Reuben. It was probably not miraculous.
Okay. He's a carpenter. We don't know what it was.
That's right.
It was framing a skyscraper. And
he was building a side table and tripped, stubbed his toe. It was
a long time ago
survived.
when you had to read books. I read a book and it was like, the unexplained mysteries of the world. And it was some lady that fell out of a plane and fell like 6 miles and hit a bed of snow and survived.
Oh.
Like I would say that's miraculous. That's a long way to fall, right? And like not die.
But you hit the bed of snow, and it's like
that you're traveling like terminal velocity.
Means
though.
that
was that the one that was pregnant and her baby survived too?
I don't know. It's a long. I read this as a kid.
There's another lady, if this is a different one, that fell out of a plane and hit the ground, and she was pregnant, and the baby lived too.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
There
I
was
would say
another
that's
one.
miraculous.
There was a young girl and her mom, that they took this like what's the word, like janky train or plane over Costa Rica, and she fell in the jungle, and she not only fell from the sky, but she crawled through the jungle for days, and she was like blinded by the time she got to the bottom, because apparently like the pressure on your eyes from falling swallowed her eyes shut.
I heard about that.
It's terrifying. I don't know if she's permanently blind, but yeah, while she was climbing through the jungle, she was.
So I would call all of those miraculous, but I doubt that he was doing carpentry from a plane.
But I still wouldn't call them miraculous.
Fell out of the plane.
Okay. We just gave 3 examples of falling out of the plane and surviving. It's like clearly there is exactly. It's very lucky. It's awesome. It's amazing. 3 people died in the car accident. I died, and I never call it miraculous.
Some people
fall down. The plane's going down. I don't have a parachute. I'm just going to jump and like count on God saving me on the way down.
Some people fall down in the shower and die. I have fallen in the shower before, and I lived, and it was
I fell down those
miracle.
stairs, and
I've fallen down the stairs before too.
I didn't die.
I got hit by a car once, and I didn't die.
Okay. Yeah, same that. That's the closest one I got. I don't think I've fallen down in a very long time.
Yeah, I don't understand how it happened. It pissed me off.
Like I walk into doors and stuff, but I don't think.
And you survived?
Yeah, but I haven't fallen.
No internal bleeding or anything?
I haven't fallen down.
To be fair, I didn't fall like
recently
all the way down all the stairs. I like didn't get my next step, and I just went straight down and hit my butt on the thing. Right. The next one that my butt landed on. We have a caller on the line, so let's go to them. David in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yeah, it was Judge Wapner, and I just held a bench trial, and the verdict is that Richie owes Ricky from the Commonwealth the amount that he claims that Ricky owes him, because that's what I decided in my verdict.
Emotional harm from the email.
I'm gonna create a Dave in New Mexico email next.
along with defamation, because I took the testimony of both Richie and Ricky, and then I went in chambers and evaluated it, and I came to the verdict that Richie did indeed defame as well as inflict emotional damage. So pay up, Richie.
Not going to happen. You have no authority here.
contempt of court. Thy shall be swatted and then arrested and imprisoned on contempt.
Okay.
That's how David runs his court. If you don't do what he says, he calls SWAT on you.
I'm surprised
not
I've
the
not
rats.
been.
Doesn't call them rats.
Judge David Wapner.
Hey, Dave.
If that's his real
David,
name.
I thought you were coming to New Hampshire.
I am coming to New Hampshire.
When?
Well, I don't operate that way. What I do is I put one foot in front of the other when I'm all comfortable. On
You're
this
walking
foot,
here?
Someone did that. That was the thing.
Yeah,
the walk for
someone walked
liberty.
here.
Yeah.
Actually, I may walk there. However, I will hire a proxy that has 4 legs instead of 2, and I will sit on the back of that proxy and walk to New Hampshire.
That's fun.
Dave is going to rickshaw to New Hampshire.
That guy actually left. Isn't that crazy? He walked.
Oh, he did?
Walked for liberty all the way to New Hampshire. That's what I heard. That's what I heard from Ian.
It's be a good time to do it so you get here before the snow.
No, not a rickshaw, Richie. I'm gonna give me some horses.
Oh, okay.
Horses. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I misheard that. My mind went elsewhere.
What did you think I said? You thought you thought I was going to get some horses to pull my rickshaw?
I did. That's what I was picturing in my mind as you said.
What a damn good idea. That sounds actually...
In the whole old Western, purple dress and everything. With the bustier.
Makes it funnier.
I was thinking more like some cute little Chinese whore pulling my rickshaw.
This is getting ridiculous. Anyways,
no, it's not.
It was funnier when Richard said it that way. It's way more cartoonish.
If this is ridiculous, then every old Western movie is equally ridiculous, and they're not.
Sure, I accept your terms. I don't know. I don't care about Western movies. I don't love or hate them.
Hey, well, there's your problem. You're guilty. I pronounce you guilty.
Oh, now Bonnie's guilty in Dave Wapner's court.
Pay your fines to the clerk, and she'll funnel them to me.
You're going to pin her eyes open and make her watch Western movies?
Oh, my God.
No, you don't have to watch them. We'll just play them 24 hours, like we're the FBI outside your door, and you can just listen to them.
Put Tombstone on repeat.
What's the best Western movie that I actually should watch? Okay, Tombstone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the other day, somebody told me I have to watch Apocalypse Now, so it's like I can't possibly watch all the movies that I need to watch, so that everybody tells me I need to watch this or that movie.
Tombstone's a good one.
Yeah. Tombstone's like the peak of Western movies, and then nothing else really compares once you watch it.
My doppelganger, according to all of the women that work at the New Mexico State Supreme Court, my doppelganger is the main character in Tombstone.
Okay.
The Val Kilmer?
No, the other one.
Kurt Russell?
Actually, now you remind me. I had a girlfriend a long time ago that thought I looked like Val Kilmer.
Well, so is it Kurt Russell then?
Yeah.
That's weird because Val Kilmer doesn't look anything like Kurt Russell.
They look exactly the same, and also just like David.
and these ladies are female, Richie, and they notice these things.
They notice that Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell look the same?
And also David.
Tell him, Lori. Tell him, Lori.
Yeah, all three of you guys. Twins.
Triplets?
Twinslets.
Well, I tell you what, when no lie, when I was in my 20s, my girlfriend was in the living room watching this like a Saturday afternoon matinee, and I came around the corner and I was talking to her, and I caught the TV out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, did a double take. It's like, how the hell did I get on TV? And then it's like, oh, that's Kurt Russell.
Wow.
Also, he also looks exactly like Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio and what are some other Tom Cruise.
Alex, I'll take things that didn't happen for 500.
Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell.
The funniest part is I don't even know what David looks like.
Okay.
So
I know what he looks like, and I can't say that I think he looks just like Val Kilmer or anything. But I heard
found
about
him on Twitter when Twitter was Twitter in like a Speedo, and that's the only visual I have of him.
I forgot about the
I've heard of the picture, and I have a vision of what he looks like in my head, but I've never seen him.
Don't go searching. Don't go down that rabbit hole.
David's face looks totally normal, but I don't think he looks like Val Kilmer or anything. I can't see it. Maybe I'd have to know you in real life, and maybe it has something to do with like the way you move around or something.
1990s Val Kilmer?
I did not think that I looked like Val Kilmer. My girlfriend thought I looked like Val Kilmer. But what I'm telling you is I never thought I looked like Kurt Russell either until I came around the corner and wondered what the hell I was doing on TV.
I'm pretty sure your girlfriend was just being nice at the time because that's what nice girlfriends do.
In my mind, in David's picture, he's wearing one of those Borat like singlet Speedos and his bright yellow.
No straps. No straps. Just a banana hammock.
I just heard the other day.
I like my version better.
There's a
banana hammock. Lori, it's a strapless banana hammock. All right.
So just like a cup.
Well, there's like, don't look this up either, but there's legitimately like a bathing suit that only wraps around like one leg and cups that area.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
And that's like
it's
the
like,
whole thing.
Like a hair clip, but for down there.
What the heck? Never
it's
heard
a thong.
of that.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine how that would work at all.
It just hangs on one leg and holds the rest in place while strapped up your bum.
And then you just pray that it stays there.
Like a male version of a Princess Leia outfit.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not making that connection either with what I'm picturing in my mind.
Yeah, I can't
do my
picture
best to describe it.
Either thing being the same.
Well, yeah, I don't have those images of dudes in one-legged the Speedos, and Richie does, so you win, Richie.
Well, I just heard the other day about a movie with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell from the 90s.
Bird on a Wire?
I don't remember now what the name is, but no, because it's something else. It's like I'll know if somebody remembers, but basically she goes into a coma and he decides to trick her when she's coming out that she is his wife, and he gets her to move in. The doctor's like, this is fine. They move in together, and she tricks her that he's his wife and like does stuff, and it's like, this is rape.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The 90s were
And it's
wild.
a comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, freetalklive.com for more, and you can follow us on Twitter, or aka X, at Free Talk Live. Thanks for listening. Peace.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand